we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I have a very special video for you guys, and that is all about how I make my money in BDO. This is a very frequent question I get asked on a regular basis, is how do you make your money? What life skills should I do? How should I make my money? So I'm going to try and put all my eggs in one basket to give you guys the tools that you need to be able to make money the way I do. Now, let it be known, this is a big game, plenty of ways to make money, but I'm coming at it from a perspective of someone that likes the PvP and enjoys grinding and uses grinding as their primary source of income. There is no tricks about how I make my silver in this game. It's lots and lots of hard work and lots of grinding. But I do utilize some life skills to make some incremental income and to also make my AFK money. AFK money is a very, very important part of this game. If you're not doing AFK, if you're not making money AFK, you are going to fall behind the longer the game is out, because you can actually make some pretty significant gains from certain life skills when you're not playing. But now let's have a look at the overview of all the different life skills that we're going to be talking about in this video and the ones that I use to make the silver that I do. So one is farming. Farming is a very, very good one. Another one is trading. We also use alchemy. I also do some investments in the marketplace from time to time. I'm not going to go too in depth in the investment side. I'll show you guys one investment that I've made recently and give you guys the tools that you're going to need to make your own investments if you choose to do that in the future. I'll talk about the pros and cons of investments as well. And finally, I'm prepping for a future life skill, which is cooking. In the future, we are going to get Manos, and if you do some prepping now, from what I've seen from YouTube, I don't know how true it is, because obviously it might change by the time we get it, but people are making 1 to 1.5 bill just from handing in Imperial Guru crates for Manos life skills, which is kind of insane. But we'll be getting into that when we get to the cooking part of the video. But we are going to start this video with a very controversial topic and a very important one if you want to be able to do all the different things that I've just mentioned. So that is the Pearl Shop. If you want to be able to branch out all these different life skills, you will need to get some core pearl items. If you are not able to, or you don't want to, obviously you don't have to. You will just have to minimize the amount of different life skills that you dip your toes into. So I'd recommend definitely farming to be a life skill that you pick up. It's really, really good incremental, well, just easy money. Farming is your best use for contribution to silver, in my opinion. Now, I would then pick one life skill to attach to it. You can pick alchemy if you like to, but that would not be what I would personally advise. I would advise either doing trading for your AFK income. However, you can also get ready for the cooking, for guru cooking in the future, because that is going to be really, really good money when it does come out. It might take a while before we get it, but the more work and time you put into it now, AFK time mainly, it's really, really going to push you to be able to make easy money when the system comes out. So the two that just to repeat, the two I'd recommend would be either a combination of farming and trading or farming and cooking, and dropping the alchemy. But now, the first pearl item you're going to need to get is in slot expansions underneath functions. So just after loyalties, you got the functions with the alchemy symbol. You come over here to slot expansions, and then we're going to scroll down and you're going to be picking up the worker lodgings. Now keep in mind, it's each one of these 200 pearl items is a +1 worker lodging. You can get 3 worker lodgings per town and city. What this allows you to do is hire more workers in that town. So every 200 pearls you spend, you get an extra worker. Every town and city comes with a default 1 worker in it. So when you get all 3, you're going to have 4 workers in that town or city that you did not have to use any contribution points to hire, which is really going to save up your contribution points to be able to invest in all these different life skills that we've talked about. Now, I have picked up Arihaza and Duvenkroon for a specific reason, but this isn't actually something you need to pick up. This is just if you can, or if you want to, it allows you to be a bit lazier with your farming in terms of the workers that you're going to use to prune your crops for you. We'll touch more into that when we get to the farming section of the video, but just know you don't have to pick these up. So if you don't want to, or you can't, don't pick these 2 up, but I would definitely recommend getting all the other ones. Now, the other big one is you're going to need at least 3 areas maxed out in storage. Again, this is going to save you a lot of contribution points, because getting the storage space does cost quite a decent amount of CP. So the reason we're going to need 3 is one you're going to need for miscellaneous items. Myself personally, I keep my miscellaneous items in Velia, so I max out that storage. The other two is going to be because you're going to need one storage that you're going to need to max out for your alchemy. I use Calpheon to do my alchemy in, so I've maxed out my Calpheon storage. And for my cooking, I use Olvia, so I've maxed out my Olvia storage for the cooking items. Now there are 3 extra optional areas where you can increase your storage or even max your storage if you do choose to do that. That will be Heidel, Altanova, and Glish. The reasons you might want to do this is depending on how you want to use your contribution points. So if you want to make Gruntle helmets, for example, for enhancing, I'd recommend maxing out Altanova. Now, if you want to mass produce gathering tools to even sell on the central market, the Lucky 1 procs, you can also do that. You would want to probably get Heidel and Glish, those 2 areas. Another one is if you want to get the life skill cloves. We're going to need to make our own life skill cloves, for example, cooking cloves and alchemy cloves, to be able to use these, to be able to do these life skills efficiently. So if you haven't already got yourself a +3 or +4, it might be a good idea to use Heidel as the area to produce these clothes and then enhance them yourself, or you could even sell them and buy a +3 or +4 on the central market when they become available. So just to recap, there's 3 storages you need to max out. Wherever you choose your alchemy to be, where you choose your cooking to be, and where you want to store your miscellaneous items. And then there's 3 optional storages that you can max out if you decide to, and that is Altanova if you want to do Gruntle helmets, and Glish along with Heidel if you want to mass produce tools and or also make functional life skill cloves. So now for the next set of pearl items, we're going to be looking at costumes, which if you go to appeal, which is just after the functions, you're going to go underneath the outfit, you're going to click on costumes, and you're going to want to buy a processing, an alchemy, and a cooking set of gear. These 3 ones down here. So the Pavilla costume, that's going to be for your alchemy, your canopy, that's going to be for your cooking, and the Karki suit set, which is going to be for your processing. I'd highly recommend, if you haven't invested in cooking or anything on a character yet, to put this on a shy and put these 3 costumes on the shy. I do my cooking, my alchemy, and my processing on one character because that one character is also going to need some weight and a little bit of inventory slots. Inventory slots are not as important as the weight, but it is going to need the weight. So I've picked my shy for my life skiller, my main hardcore life skiller, and these costumes I bought on my shy. Do not use your main as your main life skiller. Take my word on this, you will regret it heavily in the future if you do. Do not use your main as your main life skiller. If your main is currently your cook and your alchemist, that's fine. Stop doing it on your main and start leveling it up on a life skiller. It's going to save you a lot of hassle in the future. So as we talked about, on that life skiller that you're going to put these clothes on, you're going to want to buy some weight. Weight is the main one, and maybe like 16 inventory slots. If you don't mind, so you can split it into 2. I haven't done this, but you could technically split your cooking and your alchemy between 2 different characters, but then you're going to have to buy these items for both those characters, which is why I haven't done it. This way you get to save a little bit on the silver. So the weight, you're going to want to buy all of these weights. So that is going to be a significant investment. And also every now and again, there is an event 300 weight that comes out. You can only buy that event 300 weight once. So once you buy it, even if it comes out later on, you can't buy it again. I would recommend picking it up for your life scale character as well. And inventory slots, do your missions with your life skiller. So for me, it's my shy. I would recommend it be a shy for you as well. Do all your main missions and all your side missions that you need to get as many inventory slots as possible. See if that's enough for you. I had some free inventory slots that we've been given from the game, but maybe if you purchase a +16, it should mitigate any inventory problems that you have in the future as well. Now, the next pearl item you're going to need to pick up is a campsite. This is going to really help you out with your grinding, and it's actually going to help you out doing some hunting. I didn't mention that at the beginning, but this is a really, really good life skill to bridge the gap between cooking and alchemy because it gets you items for both of these life skills. and a tent is essential for hunting. So you do want to pick this up for sure. And finally, you're going to want to pick up some maids. So for these last two ones, the tent and the maids, they do go on discount. So wait for them to go on discount before you pick them up. I'd recommend having 4 storage maids at minimum and a minimum of 5 or 6 market maids for the central market. I have over 10 of each. I invested, I think, 7 of each in the past, and then we've just been getting free ones over time. So they've been slowly increasing as I've been playing the game. But I would definitely recommend, I'd say minimum of 3 storage maids and 5 market maids. Bare minimum, but that's really going to help you out as well. And finally, pets. So the last Pro Shop item you're going to want to pick up is a hedgehog. This is pretty important for gathering. You don't need to pick up both. You can pick up whichever hedgehog comes into the Pro Shop. Right now, you can't buy a hedgehog from the Pro Shop, so I can't show it to you there. But in the future, when they do implement it, you'll find it right here under pets. There will be a box for a hedgehog. So grab a hedgehog when it comes available. And on top of that, do try and get it to a tier 4 hedgehog if you can. So now we are in the real meat and bones of how you're going to need to set yourself up to make this big side money. It is having a good worker empire. And I'm going to go through with you guys node by node what you need to pick up. But before we go through node by node, the first thing you're going to want to do is pick up worker lodgings in all the cities, major cities. So come to Velia and just pause your videos because I'm going to quickly just show you each of the ones that you're going to pick up. So in Velia, you're going to do Velia 1, Room 3, Room 2, Room 1. You're going to pick up these worker lodgings in Velia. After Velia, we're going to go to Heidel. And in Heidel, you're going to pick up everything you see except this one here. Heidel 8.1, Room 3. I've picked this up to give you guys an example in a minute on how to hire workers. So don't pick this one up, but do pick everything else up. I think you need to pick up Heidel 1.1 to be able to get one of these worker lodgings here. So do keep that in mind. And you don't need to have a refinery area here. You could actually pick storage to make sure you're spending a little bit less in your pearl items. But I've actually got maximum storage here, so I was forced to choose something that wasn't storage. So do keep that in mind. After Heidel, we're going to come over to Alta Nova. So in Alta Nova, just pick up Alta Nova 6.1 for 1 additional worker. And after Alta Nova, we're going to go all the way to the left side of the map here in Calphion. There's going to be quite a lot of workers. So in Calphion, as you can see, we got a lot of workers in Calphion. So just have a little look-see here and pick up all these different ones that you see. And that is all the workers that you're going to need to hire. So now that you've got all these worker lodgings, you need to know how to hire your workers. You're going to have to do this for actually every single town and city. So in all the towns and cities, you're going to want to go into them and then open your map up like we have here. You'll press down on your D-pad. So initially it's going to look like this at the bottom. It's going to say bookmarks. You'll press down on your D-pad and that's going to bring up the Find NPC button. You want to find NPC material, which is this little scythe thing right here. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, right between the fish and the chair, you find the the scythe. If you press right trigger, sorry, not the scythe, my apologies. The worker NPC, not the material one. So the worker NPC is between the chicken and the marketplace. So you click right trigger, that's R2 on PlayStation, and that will bring you to that town's work supervisor. Then you're going to come here and you're going to contract workers. Now, to keep it simple for you guys, just contract goblins. I've heard from quite a few different hardcore life skillers that even in the end game, when you get your goblins to artisan, that goblins get more special materials than humans. If you don't know what that means, that's fine. If you do know what I'm talking about, you'll know that humans have a better chance of getting the luck proc because they have higher luck. They've got the highest luck. However, just because of how fast the goblins work, the goblins actually end up getting more of that rare resource. Now, for me, I didn't know this when I set up my worker empire, so I've got a mixture of humans and goblins. But to keep it simple for you guys, just get goblins, and that will make your lives a lot easier. So, once you're in this screen, you're going to press X to look for another worker, because we're looking for blue-grade goblin workers and higher. So we're going to keep skipping through until we see a blue. So we see a blue icon there, but it's a giant worker. We don't want this guy. So we're going to keep going. And another giant, we don't want him. So we're going to keep going. Human, we don't want the human either. So we're still going to keep going. And hopefully it doesn't take you too much energy to get your blue goblins, which is taking me a lot more than it normally does, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep going here. So we finally got it there. Usually you're going to get your blue goblin rolled a lot faster than that. So blue, yellow, or red. These are the different colors you're looking for. Any of these icons, colors that you see, and it's a goblin, make sure you hire that worker in all your towns and cities to max it out. Remember, you can hire up to 4 workers in all your different towns and cities, and you want all of them to be goblins. Now, the towns and cities that obviously we've hired worker lodgings is going to be more than 4. So for those ones, depending on how many lodgings you have, you're going to keep doing this, and eventually, when you've maxed out all the workers for that town and city, next time you come to talk to a contract worker, it says you cannot hire anymore. You need to get additional lodgings if you want to do so. So that's when you stop hiring. Now, there are a couple cities where you're not going to be hiring goblins. You're actually going to be hiring giants. You see here, I've got all these different giants, and that's because giants are the best workers for your farms. I'd highly recommend getting 4 giants in Duvenkroon and 4 giants in Arihaza and 2 giants in Shakatu. The reason we're getting these giants really far away from Velia, which is where you're going to be setting up your farms, is because it's actually beneficial to have the giants as far away as possible from where you set your farms up. We'll go into that in a bit more detail when we get to the farming part of this video. So, just to recap, you've gone to all your cities, you've hired blue workers for all the cities, and you've also already invested contribution points in all the lodgings that we've already listed. Now we're going to start on investing in the different nodes. So we're going to start with Velia. We're going to be investing in Bartali Farm first, then Toscani Farm, and we're going to take Toscani Farm to Forest of Seclusion, and then Ancient Stone Chamber. Ancient Stone Chamber, you're going to pick up your excavation, and then you're going to send a worker to the excavation. Now remember, I made a few mistakes earlier on when I was hiring different workers, so I don't have the most optimal workers here, and I've just been too lazy to change them because I've already leveled them up to professional artisan, so I've kept them as it is. But if I really want to be more efficient, I would actually have to change these workers. So once you've got the Ancient Stone Chamber excavation unlocked, you will then send your worker to it. So that's important. Now, one more thing. I'm going to be starting with all the excavations first. Now, if you don't want to do the alchemy yourself, you can actually just sell these to the central market for really easy side money. So that's Ancient Stone Chamber out the way. And one more thing. For excavations, all these ones that I'm going to be showing you at the beginning, you have to physically go to the node manager and talk to the node manager to be able to get the excavation unlock. When you talk to them, there's going to be a chat option. You go to the chat option, you give him 25, there'll be an option to give him 25 energy. When you do, it unlocks the ability to unlock your excavation. So all these first excavation nodes I show you, you will have to go physically to that node manager, talk to them, and unlock the excavation node first. So now that that's out of the way, before we go to the next node, I also forgot to mention, you will need to do this when you have a value pack active on your account to be able to do it remotely. So I'd highly recommend doing it remotely. And every single time we invest in one of these nodes, it's also costing us 10 energy on our character. So you will have to cycle through a few different characters when it comes to setting up all these different nodes. I can only do 6 more nodes, and then I'm going to have to switch characters, which we will do once we get to that point. So we got our first excavation done, Ancient Stone Chamber here, and we've already sent the worker to it. Now we're going to do our next excavation. So this is going to be Lynch Farm Ruins right next to Heidel. So here's Heidel right here. First node on the left, ancient Lynch Farm runes, and we're going to send a worker there as well. There we go. So that one's out of the way. The next one we're going to do is going to be down in Glish, and it's going to be Glish runes. So we're going to invest in the contribution point up here, grab this one, and send a worker from Glish to start working there as well. There we go. So once Glish is done, we're going to start going a little bit towards, from Heidel towards Terif over here. We're going to grab Camasylvia Temple. Oh, we've run out of energy. I'll be back in a minute when I switch characters. So I'm at my next character here. So after Eastern Border, we're going to get Camasylvia Temple, which is going to let us grab the Ancient Runes Excavation. And we're also going to send a worker from Heidel to this one. So after the Ancient Runes, we're going to go all the way to the left over here to Calpheon. So from Calpheon, you're going to grab DS Farm over here. Invest in this one. That's going to take us into Northern Wheat Plantation, which is going to take us into Barinato Farm. And then we're going to grab the excavation here and start sending some workers to grab this one for us. So our next one's going to be Trents. In Trents, we're going to go quite a few nodes here to pick up to get this specific trace, but it's definitely going to be worth it. We're going to go all the way up to Mancha Forest, and Mancha Forest, we're going to pick up the excavation at Mancha Forest and send a worker here as well. So there's one last one we're going to get is Root Tree Stub. Pretty far away, but it's definitely worth the pick up. So we're going to start with Oberon Farm, and then Oberon Farm is going to come down to Bayan Farm or Farmland, and then Fenno's Cabin entrance down to Bear Downstream and Root Tree Stub, and then we're going to get the excavation here, and that is all of the excavation nodes we're going to pick up. Now I'm going to give you an honorable mention. You can pick this up if you want. I do not, because it's a lot of contribution points. And honestly, I will pick this up once I get closer to 400, but that's pretty far away. Pilgrim of Humility has got a excavation node that will give you Trace of Memory. So keep this one in mind for the future. If you do have a lot of contribution points, you can pick this up for yourself as well. So we're going to start with Velia. We're going to pick up some very simple cooking nodes. Like I said, you're going to be prepping for some future cooking. So grab chicken and meat from Finto Farm and send yourself some workers there. So that's the chicken and potatoes. I don't really need that many potatoes myself, so I'm just going to send my giant over. Bartali Farm as well. Again, chicken and potatoes. And again, just send whichever workers you want to send there. And chicken. So once you got that one out of the way, we're going to go to Balanos Forest, invest 2, and we're going to get the gathering node. So this is going to be an important one for gathering. Sunrise Herb. Really, really important to boost your early gathering levels. So you're going to want to grab this one. And we're also going to come up here to Cron Castle. So we're going to go through Ewas Hill, come up to Cron Castle over here. Apologies, not Cron Castle. We're going to stay at Ewas Hill when you grab that one, and we're going to get the lumbering node here for the ash timber. This also gives you some ash sap, which is pretty nice. So we're going to grab that guy over here. We're also going to go to Goblin's Cave. So Forest of Plunder, you're going to pick that one up. Go up to Goblin's Cave, and we're going to pick up the lumbering node here. We're also going to pick up the Maple Timber node over here at Forest of Seclusion. So that's right underneath the ancient stone chamber. And we're going to send a worker to this one as well. And also, I almost forgot, Forest of Plunder, another important one for some of the alchemy we're going to be doing in the future is the gathering node. So you've already unlocked this node, it's the arrow mushrooms. That's going to be an important mushroom that we're going to want to pick up for the future. So definitely start stocking up on some of these now. Now we've got one worker left over. There is a few different things you can do. You can send it to do some fishing for you, but honestly right now, what I would do is try and get some iron with this or copper. So if we look at the mining node here in Forest of Seclusion, we can see it's a copper node. So I'd send this last worker here to pick you up some copper because this is something you're going to need earlier on. I've got a lot of copper right now, so later on I'll be uninvesting in this node, but you guys will need the copper. So we'll use this last worker here to grab your copper. So that's all your Velia workers working, and they're getting everything you need for your future life skilling stuff. So now we're going to go to Calpheon because I'm going to be focusing on crates next. Velia is the easy one to start with. That's going to just get you some really important stuff. Some of the stuff we picked up, like the ash timber and the maple timber, is for crates, but they don't make the best crates. Calpheon crates are the best crates in the game for trading. So this is really important that your Calpheon is one of your most important areas in terms of getting money. So we're going to start up here with Breatree Runes. We're going to invest our contribution. We're going to pick up lumbering and gathering here. So the lumbering is for the birch timber, which is very, very important. And the gathering is... Did I not pick up the gathering? I didn't press A on it. I don't have energy. I'm going to switch characters. I'll be back in a minute. So I'm back here with another character at Breatree Runes. So we're going to, like I said, pick up the gathering one here. And this is for tiger mushrooms, another good one for some alchemy stuff we're going to be doing in the future. So make sure you grab, there we go, you grab a worker to start getting that for you from Breatree Runes. Now after Breatree Runes, we're going to want to come get Quint Hill over here. So Quint Hill is a pretty expensive one. We're going to go through Abandoned Islands to save a little bit of contribution points. So Abandoned Islands, Sentry Outpost into Quint Hill. It's quite expensive to get these lumbering nodes, to be honest, but it is kind of important you do. It's one of your main sources of income is Calpheon crates. It's really, really good money. So a lot of your contribution is going to be going through these areas here. So now that we've got Quint Hill, we're going to go a little bit to the right over here. So we had Northern Wheat Plantation already. We're going to go through Old Dandelion and Krutu's Cave. So for both of these, we're just going to pick up the mining here, and we're also going to pick up the lumbering. The lumbering is the important one for the birch timber. And tin is going to be kind of important, so this one's going to get you some tin. It's not super, super important, so maybe this one that I've mentioned here, you can cut this out if you're a bit low on contribution points. Like I said, it's not very, very important, but you can make a little bit of money off the tin. However, like I said, if you don't have a lot of contribution, you can knock this one off your node empire. So the next one we're going to be working towards Aussie Pass. So we're going to have to go through the dirt farm first. Then after the dirt farm, we're going to pick up Marnie's farm. And now we're going to pick up O's Pass and invest in the lumbering node here, which is going to be cedar timber, another important item. So make sure you grab this one. So the next one I'm going to grab here is Bear Riverhead. I actually went and grabbed this one off screen by accident. I didn't realize I wasn't recording. But Bear Riverhead is important. You're going to grab the mining one. So this is tin as well, but this is a little bit different. It's got a rare proc on this tin that you're going to find pretty useful. So I think it's Trace of Earth, if I remember correctly, is the rare proc off here, which you're going to need for some alchemy items. So definitely make sure to pick this one up. It is a slightly more important node than the other ones. So that's the mostly important nodes in Calpheon. Now we're going to come back down here to Trent. So Trent, the first one over here in Trent Forest, we're going to connect this one up for the lumbering. Again, this is for the Calpheon nodes, so another important one. Fir timber, So make sure you start grabbing this one as soon as possible. After that, sorry, not this node here. It's back at Mancha Forest. We're going to grab the lumbering in Mancha Forest as well for some more fir timber. And finally, the one closest to Trent itself, Lumberjack Rest. Grab the lumbering here. And that's some cedar timber for you. So that's all the nodes here. You just need the 4 workers. So these 4 workers are going to make you a good amount of silver right here. So you're making the most of your contribution. So now that's Calphio and Trent out the way. Those are some pretty important workers. So that's why we went through them a bit earlier. Another really important one here is Kepler Quarry, just above Kepler. So invest in the node first. Then grab the mining node. And then after you grab that, send yourself a worker to grab the coal. Very, very cheap node, and coal is really, really important for some of your processing later. So that's a VIP one to pick up. So now that that's out of the way, we're going to come all the way to Port Etheria here. So we're going to grab some islands because we're going to want to get some fish. The first island here, you're going to grab the fish there. Send your worker to these. So this is prepping for the future. When I was talking about making your 1 to 1.5 bill a week through cooking, you're going to need some fish to do that cooking. So make sure you start stocking up on these now, because these are really slow nodes. As you can see, it takes 2.5 hours to 3 hours for each of these workers to get to that node to start gathering. So just start now to sending your workers now. So when the time comes in the future, you don't have to be waiting on getting the fish or spending money on the central market to buy your fish. So this is really going to help you out. Invest these contribution points. It's going to take a long time to stock up on fish. As you can see, I only recently started about a week or 2 ago, and a week ago I'd say. And as you can see, in 1 week we've barely got any fish as it is. So it's very, very important you start now stocking up these fish for the future. Now that that's out of the way, let's come over to Altanova first. So Altanova, we're going to obviously get the Altanova entrance over here. You kind of have to. Then we're going to come down to the abandoned iron mines here. And we're going to get both these mining nodes. So these are important. You're going to need the zinc, and you're going to need iron as well. So once we invested in the zinc, make sure we send a worker for the iron too. And then we're going to come up here, and we're going to go to Omar Lava Cave, and we're going to grab both these mining nodes here. I don't have enough energy, so we'll be back in a second when I switch characters. So we're going to grab both of these like I mentioned earlier, Omar Lava Cave. Now one of these is coal. So coal actually isn't that important. But if you haven't got any coal as it is, I would recommend just setting up this node, like investing in this for now, and then you can drop it later on when you come to actually do some of your life skill stuff, because you're going to want to invest contributions points elsewhere. So that's that. You've got your coal, you're grabbing your iron, and you're grabbing your zinc from Altanova. Now Tariff, we're actually going to hook Tariff up to Heidel here, so we can double dip into some workers. So that's going to cost us 2 contribution points to do that. Not too expensive. So that's Soldier's Graveyard and Castle Runes. Now, for Tariff, we're going to first pick up this farm right here to grab some cotton. Now, this is going to be important for power leveling your processing if you haven't done so. And making some functional clothes if you choose to make it. If you don't want to choose to make functional clothes for a form of getting money, / you don't need to power level your processing, you don't need this cotton node. If you don't want to use functional clothes to making money, or because you need to make your own functional clothes for cooking and alchemy and farming, then you definitely want to get this cotton, and then you'll be dropping it off later on once you've got an abundance of it. But just for now, just to show you guys what I would be doing if I was just starting up, I would definitely be grabbing the Tuskilla farm right there. And now that we've got Tariff connected to Heidel, you can see we've already got some nodes investments up here. So we're going to go back up here to the ancient excavation site, and we're going to come up and get Canyon of Corruption, and also get Elric Shrine, and we're going to get the gathering and the lumbering node in Elric Shrine. And we're going to send probably Heidel workers if we got some to grab these. So white cedar, that's going to be a Heidel worker as well. And then we're going to come up to Northern Highlands. So this one's really far away from Heidel, a bit closer to Tariff. So for this one, we're going to use Tariff workers. If I can find them. So that's the maple and the white cedar. There's some rare items you get from these as well. That's really important. So you definitely want to stock up on these. Very expensive nodes, but definitely worth picking up after you get all the ones that we mentioned earlier. Those are definitely more important than these two. So now we've got all of those workers. I think, if I remember correctly, Ancient Fissure is an important one as well. The mining, I think it's zinc. Yes, zinc. So we'll send a Heidel worker to get that zinc for us. And also Stonetail Wasteland. So right off here, Canyon of Corruption next to Kalu. We're going to get the lumbering node here, not invest energy. So lumbering node. This is, I think, the only acacia one in the game. So make sure you pick up Stonetail Wasteland, another very important node. So coming back to Heidel, if we go to Lynch Farm Ruins, we're also going to grab the farm up here. We're going to invest in pumpkins and honey. So this is going to be for our future cooking purposes. So make sure you grab these. And finally, Moretti Plantation. We're going to grab the flax from Moretti Plantation. Oh. Did I not? There we go. So we got the flax. And that's our last worker available here. So now we're using all our workers in Tariff and Heidel, and we're getting all the important resources from these areas. Now let's come over here to Valencia. This is a very, very good money-making nodes that we're going to grab. So we're going to connect Valencia to Arihaza, and then we're going to go up from Arihaza. We're going to get the mining stuff up here. So to unlock these nodes is going to be a little bit annoying, to be honest, but once you've got them unlocked, you can just do it remotely as I'm showing you here. But just grab all these nodes, the Great Crater over here and Coastal Cliff, and you're getting all the mining nodes. And you're going to be sending your Valencia workers to get these nodes for you, to mine these nodes for you, I should say. And I think it was 2, no, is it 2 here? And it should just be 4, so a couple of vanadium and a couple titanium. There we go. So those, you're going to just want to send these to Valencia, not Arihaza, just because there's a storage made, there's a central market in Valencia. Trust me, it'll make your life a lot easier to send Valencia workers rather than Arihaza workers. So now we've got those 4 out of the way. So at this point, we're going to be running a little bit low on contribution points, but if you do have it, there's a couple extra things we're going to pick up. So up here in Olvia, this is a very low priority node, but it's relatively cheap, just some grapes. Grapes you can buy from a vendor for pretty cheap. However, if you've got the contribution points, you might as well just stock up on them. If you don't, that's fine. Ignore this one. It's pretty optional. And the next optional node is down here in Crescent Mountains, so it's pretty expensive to get, and you're going to be setting up workers from Sangrain Bazaar to go there. So that's just going to be in this direction here. And then once you've got these guys done, you're just going to pick up the iron nodes from here. And also you're going to grab the iron node from Pilgrim's Haven. And I'm out of energy, so we'll be back in a second. So we're back. So Pilgrim's Haven, invest contributions up here and grab the mining node. So now that the Pilgrim's Haven node is out of the way, that is pretty much all of the important items you need to pick up in the game. And there are some extra ones, so if you still have contribution points left over, right now, if you haven't done a node worker empire in the past, I'd recommend just letting your workers just gather lots and lots of materials, make sure you're feeding them every single day, and just forget about them and let them stock up on resources. If you haven't had enough contribution points to invest in everything I've shown you, that's fine. That's most likely going to be the case. You're going to be pushing your contribution points when you're leveling up your alchemy and when you're leveling up your cooking. So just try and go through in the order that I showed you. Pick up the ones around Velia first. After you do, well, first grab all your excavation ones, then pick up the ones around Velia, then the ones at Calpheon and Trent. Once you got those, the Heidel ones, and these ones are all relatively the same importance between Heidel and Alta Nova. Definitely trying to pick up like at least one of the iron nodes from Alta Nova, and then probably all the ones I mentioned in Heidel, minus these two up here, because again, these are very, very expensive nodes. So you can leave these two out if you can't afford it. And this area here, completely leave this out if you don't have the contribution points. It is a lot of CP to be able to do this. And also, this is pretty good as well, the Valencia one. So if you do have the contribution points after you've picked up the main ones in Heidel, the main ones in Alta Nova, come here and grab these Valencia ones too. But like I said, this is the least important one, and this node up here is super, super expensive, so you can cancel these. Like I said, the fishing nodes, it is important to stock up on the fishing items, but again, I don't think we're going to get Manos anywhere in this super near future. So if you don't have the contribution points, maybe just worry about picking these ones up later. So if you, like I said, if you don't have the contribution, cut these ones out. Cut the ones out over here in Sangrain. In Alta Nova, maybe don't get the coal node at Omar Lava Cave. And maybe cut out one of the iron nodes. In Heidel, don't grab these two nodes up here because they're super, super expensive. And also, don't grab Ancient Fissure as well. That's 5 contribution points for some zinc. Not really worth it if you don't have the CP. But everything else, definitely do pick it up. And like I said, forget about this. You're going to completely forget about your Node Walker Empire. Just keep them topped up on food. Okay? Now that this is out of the way, we're going to go to the farming portion of the video, what you're going to do with your farms. And then we're going to come back and pretend a month has gone past and tell you guys how you're going to reshuffle your contribution points and also use some of the contribution points that you're going to be making during this time. And we're going to talk about how you make those as well. Okay, so now let's talk about the farming life skill. So the first thing you're going to want to do is come to Heidel, and when you get here, open your world map, press down in the D-pad to bring your find NPC and go to the materials vendor. Materials vendor is where you're going to pick up some of your farms, and you're going to need 100 contribution points to be able to do this. So that's Flaviano over here, and when you get to Flaviano, just talk to him, and you want to rent strong fences. Now, as you can see here, we have 10 strong fences, which is the maximum number that you can have, and that will cost you your 100 contribution points. Okay, so I just noticed something. I've got 12 strong fences in my inventory. I'm pretty sure the maximum you're allowed to have is 10. So I don't know how I got 12, but you're meant to only be able to have 10. I'm going to ask in the partner Discord and see if something's changed. But I'm assuming you can only have 10. That's going to cost you 100 contribution points, not 120. And what you're going to do now, so pretend that you have 10, not 12, is you're going to go and power level your farming. I'm not going to tell you guys how to do that because I've already made a video on that. I'll link the video in the description down below. Go watch that video when you get to this portion of the video to power level your farming to Artisan 1. And then I'm going to meet you in Velia and I'm going to tell you guys what you're going to be using your farms for to maximize your money. So don't listen to the portion of the video when it talks about the other different things you can use your farms for, because I'm going to specifically tell you exactly what you're going to want to do right here in this video. Okay, so I've actually placed my 10 fences. I've tried to place these 2 on the ground, but it wouldn't let me. So make sure you only rent 10 fences and not 12 like I just did there, because you'll be wasting contribution points. I'll go return this to the vendor in a moment. Very easy to return. The same chat menu that you saw me renting it, you can return it to that vendor as well and get your 10 contribution points back. So if you made the same mistake as me, don't worry about it. Easily fixed. Now, just before I show you guys what we're going to be planting to start off your farms, a quick important note: make sure the character you're using to do your farms is an independent character that you don't use for anything else in the game. So definitely not your main character used for grinding or PvP, and not any other life skills. All she's going to do is stand here and do your farms. So it's pretty simple what we're going to do to start off. All these blue seeds you see in my inventory, you're going to buy them from the central market. So you're going to go to the central market and search in purple, and then buy the special purple mushroom hyphia. Make sure you buy the special versions. Then you're going to get bluffer, ghost mushroom, pumpkin, sunflower, wheat, dwarf, ghost, and that's it. But you're not going to be getting 2 of each. You will be buying 20 of each to start off with. So 20 ghost mushrooms, 20 dwarf, 20 wheat, 20 sunflower, 20 pumpkin, 20 bluffer, and 20 purple. Once you've got that, you're then going to come to your farms. You might have to make a few trips back to the central market because you're not going to have the inventory space for it. But what you're going to do is, let's say you're going to grab your dwarf mushrooms here. You're going to put 10 dwarf mushrooms in this top fence here, and 10 dwarf mushrooms in this bottom fence here, right? And then once you plant these, you're going to go to your next 2 fences. You're going to do bluffer and bluffer. Plant 10 of each of those. Then you're going to come to this one here, and you're going to pop your sunflower and sunflower. And then you're going to come over here, pop your purple and your purple. Remember, this is 10 blue ones of each. I'm just doing 1 just to show you guys for simplicity. And come over here, and you're going to do pumpkin and pumpkin. No, I got to switch farms. Sorry. Pumpkin there and pumpkin here. So remember, 10 in each, not 1 in each like I'm showing you. Right? And obviously, these 2 seeds we haven't planted. It's fine. We'll get around to these later. Now, all you're going to be doing is when these guys are ready to be harvested, you're not going to harvest them. You're just going to breed. You're going to keep breeding and breeding and breeding and breeding and breeding. And what you are doing, you're going to keep breeding until you get the magical version of that seed. So you see here, we got magical pumpkin seed. And what you want is, just to start off with, have 4 of each. So you want 4 magical pumpkin seeds. You want 4 magical sunflower seeds. It's a good starting point to just get 4. Okay, and then once you have these 4, you can then switch out some of these farms. So I'd probably just quickly switch out the sunflowers and probably either the bluffer mushroom or the dwarf mushrooms. Up to you which one. Trade those out and start putting the blue versions of your ghost mushrooms and your wheat seeds. Do the same thing again. Keep breeding and breeding and breeding and breeding and breeding until you get the yellow version of these seeds. Okay, now once you've done that, for the extra, so you're going to get a lot of these extra blue versions. You can drop them on the ground, you can sell it to a vendor, you can put them on the marketplace. Some of the seeds will be harder to sell than the others. It's up to you. It's not really going to be that much money. But our end goal is to have yellow magical versions of all these seeds. Now, I've got some extra ones in my inventory. These aren't as important. I've done a lot of different things with my farms over the last year and a half. But for now, these are the important ones that you're going to focus on and going to make money on. I don't even use like these old ones anymore. Like, I don't remember the last time I planted some of these that I haven't mentioned here. So just keep that in mind. Now let's go into the reasons why you're doing this. So the sunflowers is the easiest one to explain to you guys. Sunflowers is for crating. So you don't have to worry about this right now, because remember, we were waiting for all our products to stock up. So the sunflowers, after you get 4 yellow ones, just forget about the sunflowers. Keep them in your storage and value, or keep them in your inventory. And you're going to wait until you open up your trading shops or your vegetable workbenches to change these into crates for money. So these ones, you're not gonna replant the sunflowers until you're ready to do trading. Okay, so we're going to forget about these. So these two is really easy here. So the bluffer mushrooms and the dwarf mushrooms. These are two mushrooms that are important ingredients in making your beast/giant droughts, which is a form of making money for you. However, you cannot buy these off of, sorry, not buy these. You can buy these off the central market. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But you cannot get nodes for these mushrooms. So your workers can't get these mushrooms for you. So therefore, once you've got 4 yellow dwarf mushrooms and 4 yellow bluffer mushrooms, what you will be doing is you'll be breeding these mushrooms. And the way you're going to do it, let me just plant one of these wheats here for an example. So imagine we have 2 magical bluffer mushrooms. So another quick important point that I want to make. Once they are magical, it's a very special type of seed that now takes up 5 crop spaces instead of 1. So you can only plant 2 in your crop instead of 10. But they yield a lot better items for you. And on top of that, it's just a lot quicker and easier to manage. Once you get to this stage, you're only going to spend a couple of minutes on your farm. So now that's out the way. Imagine these are 2 magical bluffer mushrooms here. And imagine you've got 2 magical bluffer mushrooms here. You'll breed. So once they're ready to be bred, you're going to breed 1. And if it gives you 2 magical bluffer mushrooms in return when you breed this one, you're going to harvest this one and store the bluffer mushrooms in your storage or in your central market or in a different storage. Wherever you want to store it, it's up to you. Let's say you get a 1 proc here and a 1 proc here. That's fine. Just going to replant those 2 magical seeds. And then you come and you're going to breed this side. So if you get 2 magical bluffer mushrooms back from 1 breed, then harvest the other one. So you always want to basically, after your harvest, after your breeding, want to have 4 magical bluffer mushrooms to replant. So those are your bluffer mushrooms out the way. And now let's go to your dwarf mushrooms. Exact same concept. You're breeding it. If you get a 2 proc, you plant 1, and you harvest the other one, then you plant the 2 that you got. If you get a 1 proc, then you're going to have to breed the next one as well to get to make sure you can refill your farms. And that's what you're going to do with these 2 mushrooms. Same thing when it comes to crating. When you've opened up your crates, you're going to be breeding your sunflower seeds. And when you get a 2 proc, you will then harvest the other sunflower seed to get the special sunflowers. And then you will put your special sunflowers in your central market. I think I've got some to show you right here. So as you can see, you just use your central market made, put it into your central market, and then you will go to Grana or Old Wisdom Tree, depending on where you're doing your crates, and you will pull it out of your central market from a person that you've left there, and then put it into your storage and use those to make your crates. We'll go over that into more detail once we get to the crating section of this video. So those are the sunflowers out of the way. Now, one more in my inventory that we haven't planted here is ghost mushrooms. This is another mushroom that's the same as bluffer and dwarf. You need the ghost mushrooms here. So what you will be doing is when you breed it, if you get a 2 proc, you harvest the other one. So that's the ghost mushrooms out of the way. And now let's talk about these other ones here. These are very special mushrooms that items that we're going to be breeding. All you're going to do with purple mushrooms and with pumpkins and with wheat is breeding. That is all you will be doing. You're never going to harvest these ones. Now, the reason is when you breed these ones, you get special fruits that you're going to need for alchemy. So when you do the wheat, I believe it's fruit of the sun that you get from the wheat one. I know that the pumpkin one is definitely fruit of crimson flame. And yes, these are all right. And definitely the purple one is the fruit of nature. So the purple mushroom. These are 3 very important fruits for when you want to do your alchemy. So to recap, after you've got 4 sunflowers, 4 bluffer mushrooms, and 4 dwarf mushrooms, you are not going to be planting any sunflowers until you open up shop. I would recommend to keep planting your bluffer mushroom and planting your dwarf mushroom and planting your ghost mushroom and keep harvesting until you've got anywhere between 2 to 4,000 mushrooms. That's going to be more than enough to do a couple of alchemy sessions with, right? So this is your first month that you're doing it. Once you got 4,000 of these, all you will be doing is having an equal distribution of all you're going to be planting for this 1 month whilst you're waiting for everything to stock up is going to be pumpkins, wheat, and purple mushrooms. So your 10 farms is going to be an even spread of these mushrooms, and all you're going to do is breed to get the fruits. The fruits is the most important one. The least important fruit out of all the ones I've mentioned is the pumpkin one. The crimson flame fruits we're not going to need until we get areas like Sakraya and we're able to make items like the frenzy draft. So the rest of the month, all you're going to be doing is breeding. Now let me show you a really good website that I'm going to link down below that's going to really help you with understanding why you're going to do this a bit more. So over here, we got something, so this website here, Insender, is a really good website. I'm going to link both of these ones down below for you. So this shows you all the different types of fruits and vegetables in the game that you can do farming on. When you breed them, these are the fruits they give you. The ones I've chosen is, like I said, flame, nature, and sun. And the wheat and all the ones I've told you have the lowest growth time. So they're going to grow as fast as possible. So you're going to get more chances to be able to breed them to get these fruits. Now, on the same website, I'm just using a different tab here. You can just click droughts. So wherever you are on the website, you can click droughts and it will bring you to this section here. Now, for me, these are the 3 droughts I use to make money. This beast drought, frenzy drought, giant's drought, and this is what I've been directing you guys towards in terms of making sure you've got the right node empire, and the farming that we're doing is to make these items here. So this is going to be really important when it comes to making your alchemy, and this is how I've also decided what fruits we're going to be getting. Because for example, if we go here into Grim Reaper, you see we need sky mushrooms, but we've actually got a node for sky mushrooms, right? So that's why we're not planting any sky mushrooms, because the workers are going to do it for us. But if we were to look at, I think it's the Giant's Drought. So if you look at Giant's Drought, Elixir of Fury, dwarf mushrooms. Now we don't have a node for dwarf mushrooms, so that's why we're making our own ones, and we're not relying on workers. Another one I think is bluffer mushrooms, is the penetration. So bluffer mushrooms, we don't have a node for bluffer mushrooms, so we're making our own ones. So this is the website that I'm using to understand what items I need to farm. So I've broken it down as simply as I can for you guys. So you don't have to think about it too much. If you just follow what I've said for the first month, you're just going to be stockpiling all these different resources. So now let's imagine your 1 month of stocking resources is over, and now you're actually ready to start opening up your shops, to start doing some alchemy, to start doing some cooking, and to also start doing your processing for trading life skill. So your farms are now going to look different at this point. Once you've got your trading shops open, you're going to want 4 farms with sunflowers set up in them. So do something like this. So these 4 farms that we've set up as sunflowers is more than enough to make sure that your Grana workshop is always making sunflower crates. So really, really easy setup for you right here. Now, if you're only going to do your farms twice a day, you only want to do it when you wake up, and you only want to do it when you go to bed, you don't really want to, in between your day, do your farms, I'd recommend doing 6 for sunflowers, but that's going to drastically reduce the amount of money you're going to be able to make elsewhere. So if you can stay on top of it, it's better to do 4, like I've shown you here. Now, these 6 other farms you're going to be using for alchemy. And the way you're going to decide what you're going to need for alchemy is going to depend on what you already have. So I do all my alchemy in Calpheon, like I mentioned. So everything to do with alchemy, I store in Calpheon. I've done lots of different types of alchemy in the past. I've really refined it now to just do the droughts that I've mentioned. So a lot of this stuff is not actually that useful and you're not going to need it. So you will be looking at the, basically you're going to be like, okay, I don't have a lot of, I don't know, dwarf mushrooms, for example. So, okay, so what that means is, okay, you need more dwarf mushrooms. So use 2 of your farms for dwarf mushrooms and try and use the other 4 farms to always be doing your fruits. Fruits is a pretty big bottleneck in alchemy as well. And the 2 most important fruits at the minute is nature and fruit of the sun. The fruit of crimson flame is not going to be so important because we don't have the ability to make frenzy droughts yet, but we will do in the future. So try and, if you got like an abundance of, like, say I've got an abundance of fruit of the sun right now, so I'm probably going to use 2 of my ones to get some fruit of nature. As you can see, I don't have any fruit of nature, and I'll use 2 to get a bit more fruit of crimson flame, right? And then once I get like 600, 700, 800 fruit of crimson flame, I'll probably flip back to fruit of the sun. But then eventually I'm going to be doing an alchemy session. Recently I made a bunch of beast droughts, so I've used all my fruits of natures, so I'm going to be replenishing that. But the ratio for your farms is going to be 4 for your crates, your sunflowers, 2 for just whichever mushrooms you need at the time, whether it's bluffer, dwarf, or ghost mushrooms, and that's how you're going to split it up. If you have a huge abundance of mushrooms and fruits and you want to make a bit more money in your trading life skill, you can pack up all your items for alchemy and just do 10 sets of this one here, the magical sunflower, and you'll be then having a huge surplus of sunflowers. And what that will allow you to do is make sunflower crates in both Grana and Old Wisdom Tree. But you will only do this during periods where you have excessive amounts of alchemy products and you just don't need any, which isn't that often, but when it does happen, it's nice and you can make some more money in trading. So that is how you're going to use your farms. Now let's roll over to trading next. I think that's going to be a bit easier to knock out. And then we're going to talk about cooking, because we're not really going to do much cooking at the minute. It's just what we're going to be prepping for future. And finally, we're going to do alchemy, which is going to be the slightly harder section. I'm going to go back to that website that we saw earlier to try and explain a few things. So I'll catch you over on the trading side of things. Now, actually, before we go on to the other life skills, we're actually going to talk about hunting next. During the time period whilst you're waiting for your guys to gather all these materials, it's really good to take some time to level up your hunting to artisan, so you can start using an artisan matchlock. Now, it's pretty hard to get base matchlocks from the central market, so what I would recommend is opening a tool workstation in Altanova. We got some extra workers here that we're not using at the minute, so what we can do with those extra workers is get a level 3 tool workstation. So let's see, here we go, this one, Altanova 7.2. If there's a cheaper one, I'm not really sure. This is level 3, whichever one's cheaper, grab that. So if we check purchase conditions, this one requires 9 contribution and this one requires 8 contribution. So Altanova 7.2 is the cheaper one. Grab a level 3 tool workstation and start making a bunch of matchlocks, just the base hunting matchlock here. It's going to take very minimal mats to make this. Just buy them from the central market. If you don't have them, you probably do. I remember it was really cheap to make this. And it's really quick as well. So you put your worker on it, like 5-10 minutes, he makes a matchlock. Just keep him fed, and after like the next, wait a day, come back the next day, you should have like over 100. It should be completely full. Your storage, and then just smash these to plus 10. So what I did for mine is I didn't even use any fell stacks. I just grabbed some weapon stones, I smashed it all the way to plus 7. I kept using the extra matchlocks to repair it, and then from plus 7 I force enhanced it to plus 10 because it has a chance of downgrading after that point. So force enhancing is just going to save you a lot of time and stress and money as well. So get that done. You have the choice of making a professional one. I wouldn't make the apprentice, that's not worth it, or the skilled. But maybe you want to make a professional one. It will help you speed things along from professional to artisan, because it does slow it down at this point. And the professional matchlock will help you kill things a lot faster. So feel free to make those as well. And artisan is the last one you're going to make. If you're only going to be using hunting for this purpose, you only need one artisan matchlock. And in between, when you're making your matchlocks, just make yourself the blue level Steel's Butcher's Knife and keep all the lucky ones for hunting. So, you've made your matchlocks and you've got your Butcher's Knives. Remember though, if you don't have any gathering level on your character, what you will want to do is go to a material vendor and just buy a base Butcher's Knife from the material vendor. It's very important. You have to use a Butcher's Knife to get experience for hunting. Now, you've got your matchlock and you've got your Butcher's Knives. Next thing I'd invest in is getting Duo Hercules armor. Getting the 3-piece will give you a weight boost, so you don't have to worry about weight so much. And any kind of helmet. This one I just got from a quest. Accessories you don't need, but if you do want to boost your DP a little bit, what you could do is get just a set of Azula accessories or any accessories with DP. I honestly don't know why I've got Duo submission rings and a Duo. This is random stuff that I had lying around I've put on this character. It's not needed at all. And really you don't need any weapons or anything either. In terms of buff, all you want is a simple cron meal. You want an alchemy stone, a life spirit alchemy stone. Just buy this from the central market. And you want a villa buff for this one as well. The Turning Gates villa buff. So let me just come up here. I know I can put my villa up here. There we go. So you want this Turning Gates villa buff here to give you some more experience. I actually don't have a potion on me right now. And you want some potions on you. Unfortunately, I don't have them on me. So let me just I think I've got some of my storage here. And obviously, if you've got a fairy, it's going to help you out a lot. And all you're going to do is equip your base matchlocks. Obviously, you can't equip artisan at the beginning. And try and just pull 1 or 2 or 3 wolves at most at a time. And just kill the wolves. You press right trigger to reload your matchlock. You can use left trigger to roll to get out of the way. And it's going to take you a lot longer to kill them than what I'm showing you here, because your matchlock isn't going to do damage. But you will do this, and then you're not going to get any hunting experience for killing them. You have to gather to get the hunting experience. So you will do this, and as you can see, we're getting meat and blood. So this is why we're doing the hunting here, because it fills up 2 of our side life skills. We're going to be storing up a lot of meat, which is going to be really good for the future when the Guru Boxes and Manos comes out to make really easy money. You can even use some of the meat to boost your cooking levels, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. And the blood is really important for your alchemy, because the wolf's blood is an item you're going to need for beast elixirs especially. You need a lot of wolf's blood for that. So you'll be getting these items as you're leveling it up, and then when you get to artisan, you're going to be able to do this a lot faster. Now, next thing I'd recommend, this is a tip for hunting to help maximize your efficiency once you've hit artisan hunting and you're using your artisan matchlock. You want to stay down here and kill these little wolves, but don't aggro the big wolf up there. So what you would do is you shoot all these wolves around it to aggro them. Now, if you press A, you'll crouch and you can actually aim further. So if I can just get these guys out of the way. So as you can see here, I can now shoot that wolf from all the way over here and aggro him down. Shoot that wolf, and just clear them out a bunch at a time. And you're going to do this until you get 100% rage on your rage bar. And then we're going to do something a little bit different, which is really going to help you maximize the amount of gathers you're going to get per hour. I'm now going to speed the video along until I've got the rage and show you guys what you do once you have it. Okay, so as you can see here, I've now got 100% rage. I'm just going to ignore skinning these guys. Obviously, you'd skin them, but once you got your 100, you're going to come up here, and don't worry if you aggro anything, it's not a big deal. You're going to come up to this upper section over here, and then you're going to grab the aggro of these wolves. And then once you get to this top section, anything that aggroed from the bottom should aggro away. So we're just going to come up here. As you can see, it's aggroed away. Then we're going to take these wolves over into this section over here. And now we're just going to roll so we don't get hit. This is like an iframe for PvE. I doubt it works for PvP. But yeah, we're just going to roll around until they get nice and grouped. And now that they're nice and grouped, we're going to get a nice big shot on them. And as you can see, we just take out a huge portion of the wolves really, really quickly. And then this is going to really maximize your efficiency, so you can just get more meat and more blood per hour. So I'm not going to kill the rest of them. You get the idea. And this is, again, like I said, it's going to get you the meat. It's going to get you the blood. It's also a good way of getting hards and sharps. I got one hard there just getting a couple kills. So you will get quite a few of these if you do longer sessions. And I don't know, I'm not doing anything with the heads right now. I know there's some stuff you could do with it, but I haven't researched it. So if you know, feel free to drop it in the comment section down below. So I know you can upgrade these somehow, I just don't know how. And these hides, again, maybe there's a good use for them. I haven't done any research of what to use for the hides. I've just popped it on the central market. It's not going to sell. There's millions of these things on the central market. But if I find a use for them, maybe I'll pop it in like the comment section down below. So for this life skill here, I'd recommend, obviously, during the first month, whilst you're waiting for everything to build up, get it to artisan. And then once you have an artisan, like 2, 3, 4 times a week, however many times you feel comfortable, just spend 1 hour here, 2, 3, 4 times a week. So it's anything from 2 to 4 hours a week. Just to get yourself a couple of hards and sharps, stock up on your meat and get your blood. And this little bit of time investment you're going to put every single week is going to help you make billions in droughts when it comes to your alchemy time, like when it comes to making your alchemy in the future. Really, really good life skill. And again, you're going to be able to use this meat for power leveling your cooking and also saving a good bunch of it for getting that money in the future. Okay, so now let's talk about power leveling our cooking. We're going to do cooking now, then we're going to go over the trade stuff, and then we're going to finish with the alchemy. That's the last big money one. Now, you're going to need 10 contribution points when it comes to leveling up your cooking, and you're going to need a little stockpile of supplies. So again, probably I'd wait a month or at least 2 to 3 weeks at least before you start doing this. And once you've got your little stockpile, we're going to uninvest in some nodes if you need the contribution points. So these are the nodes I'd recommend uninvesting in, like Northern Highlands there. I'd recommend uninvesting in those nodes. You don't have to uninvest in all of these. You can, it just depends on how many contribution points you need. But I'm just showing you that these are the non-VIP ones. And they give you back quite a lot of contribution points when you uninvest in them as well. So if we pop those ones out, oh, I missed one here. All the ones around Sandgrain Bazaar, and we got rid of that. And if you want, I forgot to get my worker to stop working here earlier, but the Ancient Fissure isn't that great either. For the Zig, it's pretty good. This is the last one, so this is the last one I'd come to, and maybe these fish ones over here you can stop for a little bit as well if you really can't take it out of anywhere else. And the grape node, I like having this grape node. A lot of people will tell you it's not efficient for your CP. It's just for convenience factor for me. I like having the fruits from the grapes. But yeah, so that's how you get some CP back, which is going to be important because we're going to have to open up some workshops as well. So we're going to use 10 of the CP here for leveling up our cooking. So we're going to come chat to the storage person in Velia. Any major town or city, if you chat to the storage vendor, you can rent a container. I would not recommend doing your cooking in Velia though, because whilst you're power leveling your cooking, you can do some imperial trade-ins to make some money, so your time is at least kind of worth it. You're not going to make huge money imperial trading. If you're grinding high-end spots, it's not going to be worth your time. But if you're not in Archman's and Histria, it's actually not that bad. It's a good little daily chunk of change. And as you're power leveling your cooking, it's also going to be giving you contribution points. So I'll see you in Olvia in a minute, which is where I've set up shop for my cooking. You can set up shop anywhere you like that has an Imperial trader. I've picked Olvia because not a lot of people use the Imperial trader in Olvia. However, if quite a few people watch this guide and they decide to go to Olvia, obviously you're going to be fighting with each other to get your Imperial trades handed in, because only a certain amount of trades can be handed in per day to Imperial trader. That's server wide, so everyone on the server, when they sell to that Imperial trader, reduces the amount that that trader will buy from you by 1. And it's server reliant, so once you you can swap servers freely as well for your Imperial trading. Just keep that in mind, because I'm not going to go too in depth about the Imperial trading part. I'm just going to show you guys how to boost your cooking and just which Imperial items you're going to be cooking, and that's it. Okay, so now we're in Olvia. All you got to do is spend 1 more contribution point to purchase a house. So I think I just pick a house that's 1 contribution point and make sure it's residence. I'm just going to grab 6-1 over here because I'm pretty sure it's the one that's right next to me. Hopefully. Should be this one right here. Yeah, 6-1. So we're going to come in here and you're going to place your little container. That's not the container. You're going to place your little container down wherever you like. And then you're going to have to place some tool workstations. So what you can do if you want to be a bit more active with your cooking, it's going to require a bit more micromanaging, but it's going to require less effort elsewhere, is go to your cooking, the cooking dude. So put a wave marker to the cook, and we got a little bit of money. I don't know how much it costs to buy it. I think it's pretty cheap. You'll come to this person over here, and you can just buy this cooking utensil. Buy quite a lot because you'll go through these pretty quickly. They're only $1,000 a piece, and this is one of the items we can use for boosting our cooking. However, if you want to be a little bit more semi-AFK, you can actually open a level 3 tool workstation wherever you like and craft some real cooking utensils. I think I've left some in my storage. If not, there should be in my central market. So these advanced cooking utensils here, you can make at a level 3 workstation. However, what I would recommend is if you're going to open a workstation, I wouldn't keep it open for too long, but I'd actually open a workstation in Glitch for the level 4. Let's have a look. Purpose, tool workshop, and you can see this level 4 one here. It will get you a level 4 and a level 3. I would recommend just use level 3 to craft your advanced cooking utensils, and use level 4 to craft your advanced alchemy utensils for later on as well. Now there is 2 main bottleneck items for this crafting station. One is scantling, usable scantling, and the other is polished stone. So usable scantling is pretty easy. You can just go hit any tree with lumbering axes to get logs. You process the logs through chopping right here, and you select your logs, and it makes every 10 logs will make a couple of usable scantling. What you can do during the 1 month period, I hate gathering logs myself, so what I do is I pre-order a bunch. So if we come down here into my pre-orders, I've already had a little bit of it filled out. Pre-order 1,000 logs. What I do is after I get a bunch, it's actually best to reorder 1,000 logs because it's at max price and it's RNG who gets it. So if we come here, it's 10 mil and it's going to save you a lot of time instead of gathering yourself. And just if your 10,000 gets, if you buy the 10,000, just buy another 1,000, just buy another 1,000. If you can buy it from the central market, that's great. It's going to save you a lot of time. But for the polished stone, it's pretty easy. I've got a character that I just leave at Pilgrim's Haven. Personally, you don't have to do this. You can go there yourself with your main gatherer if you want. I literally just took a character with no gathering level with some utensils to Pilgrim's Haven, And every now and again when I need polished stone, I just swap over and I use the energy on that character, and I'll show you in just a second as well. So here we go, we're on my gatherer that's at Pilgrim's Haven. Really, really easy spot to get rough stone. It's actually really good for power leveling your gathering as well. So if there's any characters you want to level your gathering on, just bring over here. As you can see, just lots and lots of rough stone. You just kind of stand on a node and you hold Y, and you just hit professional 9 gathering. And this will just get you all the rough stone that you need. I'd recommend having a seafood cron meal running, an alchemy stone, a life alchemy stone, and also the villa buff turning gates. So you get more EXP and you get more energy recovery. And then once that's done, you just go processing, grinding, and you just grind your rough stone and it will make some polished stone. Obviously, you're going to need more than 12 rough stone. I just kind of use all my energy here every now and again. I get a nice supply of rough polished stones. Honestly, you need to do this maybe like at the beginning, once every 2 weeks at most, maybe once a week if you're really going through a lot of utensils. But right now, I literally do this once a month. I come once, maybe twice a month, I'll come do some gathering. So as time goes on, you don't need to do this as much. At the beginning, you'll need to come here a little bit more often because you're power leveling some of your life skills. So let's get back on the cook and talk about some other bits and bobs we're going to need. So we're back on our cook. So you've got your utensils. Now what gear we're going to need? So we've already got the canopy sets. So if you look here, the canopy sets what you're going to use for cooking. So this is going to be important pro item to pick up. Next thing, I'd recommend +4 cooking cloves. +3 works. 100% does work with +3. But if you can make your own +4, that's great. Now let me just, another one is a spirit stone, so a life stone. You can easily buy these from the central market. I've just got a bunch from when I used to grind polys for skill points. These are plentiful on the central market, they're never going to run out. And simple cron meal is, not simple cron meal, sorry, seafood cron meal. Just buy these from the central market again. And finally, you're going to want to pop turning gates just to give yourself some more money. So we have to get a little bit further away. I think right here is fine. And I just pop this one here so I don't have to pop it as often. So whilst you're power leveling, these are what you're going to need. Now, if you're using a +3 cooking clothes, you're also going to want to pick up some of these Vendora droughts so you can take your cooking time down to 1 second. If you're using +4, then you don't need the Vendora droughts, but you can still pop it because it gives you more life skill EXP. So that way, you're going to get more levels when you're making your cooking. And finally, pets. This is completely optional. If you got any pets that give you cooking life skill EXP, pull them out. If not, it's not a big deal. So for me, like Darcy has it. So you find out which pets got cooking EXP, and then there's certain pets, for example, that just give life skill EXP. So these hedgehogs, they give you life skill EXP. So any pets that give you EXP towards cooking or life skills, take them out so you're getting some more points whilst you're cooking. And move all your cooking materials to Olvia as well. So they're all going to be pretty much down here in Velia. So do a couple of trips and grab, like, you know, your eggs, your potatoes, your chicken, all this stuff that your workers are going to be grabbing for you. Move them to Olvia. And then once you get to Olvia, go back to the cooking person where we bought the utensils from and buy a bunch of like base cooking items. So that's like mineral water, base sauce, olive oil, deep frying oil, cooking wine, cooking oil, all this kind of base ingredients. Sun-dried salts, I'll buy a bit less. They're a bit more expensive and you don't really need it. Regular salt, regular sugar, I buy like 50k of each. They're really, really cheap. Keep them in your storage and it's just going to save you a lot of time so you don't have to keep going to the vendor. And in terms of power leveling your cooking, the first couple items you're going to spam is just beer and bird meat. The beer you're going to hold on to and you're not going to use it to feed your workers. because it's actually an ingredient for Balanos meals, which is the item that we're going to use for guru cooking in the future. But the bird meat, oops, the bird meat, as you can see if you go to crafting notes, really simple recipe: 2 chicken meat, 6 deep frying oil, 2 cooking wine, and 1 salt. So let's go into our residence, and we're just going to pop. You can place it more neatly if you want. Place a bunch more if you want. I'm just doing this for just to give you guys an example. So just take out a bunch of the materials and then pop it in here. I think if I remember correctly, it was 2 of these. It might have been 1 wine, but I'm just going to put 2 just in case. 1 of these and 6 of these. And just cook it. So as you can see, we don't have a 1-second cook time on this specific cooking utensil because this one is not the better one. The better one is here with the advanced cooking utensil. It gives you a minus 1-second cook time. So when you're using this one, you're going to cook faster. But if we pop this drought, you're going to see now that we're going to cook a lot faster here. We've got the 1-second cook time. So we can really just speed through and make the bird meat. Like I said, I probably just do like maybe make between 10 and 20,000 bird meat to power level you're cooking at the beginning, and make like 10 to 20,000 beer as well. These are very, 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 very easy items to make, and it will get your cooking level to a decent amount, and it won't take that long to make. You could do it in like a day or 2 or 3 days, depending on how long you want to spend cooking in small increments. And if you're using this advanced cooking utensil and you've got a 1-second cook time, it takes 15-16 minutes for it to go through the whole utensil. So it's a good like semi-AFK activity as well for your power leveling. But once you've got your cooking to, let's say, in the professional area, I would then, instead of cooking this stuff, switch over and start making some items for your Imperial hand-ins. So let's come to the Imperial hand-in vendor. This guy over here, no, not exchange, Imperial crafting. Takes a second. And the ones I would recommend making, just easy ones: boiled egg cooking box. You can make some of these. 5-grain chicken, another very easy one to make. And the third one is honey wine, which I can't seem. There it is. Honey wine is another very simple one to make. And going back to the cheaper recipes, those are the only 3 I'd honestly recommend making. You can spam them very, very easily. I'd make all 3 of them, so make batches of all 3. And then what you do once you've made them is you'd come to this NPC and you'd have the item in your inventory. So let's say you got the honey wine in your inventory. Let me buy some honey wine just to give you an example. So we bought some honey wine there. You go into Imperial Cuisine. So imagine you got a lot more than 132. You're going to have thousands. Just stand in front of this dude over here and start doing this to get it into an artisan honey wine cooking box. It's 50 per. So I'm just going to make 2. And then you're going to come over here, click on Imperial Craft and Delivery once. It's going to take a second. Don't spam it. If you do, you're not going to have the option to sell this for some reason. So then we're going to sell both. And I think we made, I don't know, 437K. We spent 400,000 buying it. So yeah, you can make a little bit of profit buying from the central market at the minute with these prices. 100% not worth your time though. It's definitely not worth your time. You want to cook it yourself. And you also get these little Imperial Cuisine tokens right here. So these ones right here is what you're going to get. I'd recommend trading 500 of these for the cooking utensil, to be honest, just to make your lives easier. And yeah, that's the only thing I'd honestly recommend. But one thing you can do, you can trade it in for milk. If you don't mind crafting your own or micromanaging the little ones, if you do trade it in for milk, milk is a very important item you're going to need for these future guru crates. So you can have that option as well. I'm lazy. I prefer just to go with the supreme cooking utensil when it's available for me. And if you need to know what items you need to make like the 5-grain chicken and the other bits and bobs, come into your crafting recipes here. And as you can see, for some reason, it's not showing you what you need for boiled eggs. But if you just go on Google and Google BDO boiled eggs, it will tell you what you need. That's just a bug. That shouldn't be like that. But if we go to the chicken, is it 5-grain chicken soup? For example, let's just do honey wine, for example. You come here, you see, oh, these are the items you need for honey wine. We've already got the cooking node in Heidel, if you remember, the honey node there. So grab your honey from Heidel, don't forget that. Purified water, do not use purified water. Whenever you see purified water and mineral water, this is an annoying little bug that's on the console. You don't ever need purified water if you also see mineral water listed. So what you actually do is you use 6 mineral water instead of 3 purified water. This is an option. You can use 3 purified water or you can use 6 mineral water. So this recipe is actually 6 mineral water with 2 sugar, 2 essence of liquor, and 3 cooking honey. So these 2 items you buy from the vendor. This item you've got a node for, and for essence of liquor, you've got to craft that as well, which is another really good way of power leveling your cooking. And all you need here is wheat flour, which is you get from just grinding your potatoes from your potato node. When you grind it, you get the wheat flour. Apple, this is any kind of fruit. We've got the grapefruit here in Olvia, so you should already have some grapes that you can use to make the essence of liquor. And leveling agent is an item you buy from the vendor. And just to give you guys a quick example for wheat flour, it's pretty simple. You probably already know how to do it. But just in case anyone slightly newer to the game is watching, all you got to do is grab a bunch of potatoes, put them in your inventory, obviously more than 100 at a time, and grind them. It's pretty simple. And 5-grain chicken is the same thing. I remember I think all you need is chicken and a bunch of resources that you buy from the vendor. The only thing about the chicken is you have to grind the chicken. So keep that in mind. So use some of your AFK time to grind some potatoes and use some of your AFK time to grind some chickens. Honestly, if you just do it overnight, it's going to use one of your overnight AFKs to do chicken, one of your overnight AFKs to do potatoes. It's going to keep you going for weeks, literally weeks. So like I said, one night do chicken, one night do potatoes. So you're going to have all the stuff that you need to power level your cooking. There we go. We've got the minced bird meat, which is what you need to make that 5-grain chicken for the hand-ins. So hopefully that covers everything with cooking. I've tried to go through it as quickly as possible. I know some people are going to say I'm slow. Other people I'm going to say I'm rushing through it too fast. But if you are confused, feel free to go on YouTube and just type in how to power level cooking. And that will give you some tips on what to do there. As you can see right now, I am Master 10 cooking on this character. You want to eventually get to Guru. For me personally, I've just stopped cooking altogether now. I don't do any cooking. I am basically hoarding mats for Balanos meals. And then when Guru stuff comes out, I will just get to Master. I will get from Master 10 to Guru by just spamming a lot of Balanos meals. I mean, thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of them. That's how I'm going to get to my Guru cooking personally. All right, so I hope this portion of the video has helped you out. Now we're going to move on to trading. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the life skill trading. There's a few different trains of thought on what character that you should use for your trading, and I'm going to link a guide on how to level your trading down below. But I'm going to give you some tips because some of the button inputs are going to be different because obviously the guide's in PC and we're on console. So go watch the guide and then come back over here once you've got your trading leveled up to watch the rest of this part, to rewatch this part. Feel free to watch the whole thing now if you want, just to absorb all of it in. But here we go. So the different trains of thought is you can put trading life skill on your main character or a side character. Originally, Gandalf was my main. I had no issues with it being my main. It didn't really bother me because you're only actively doing your trading once a month or once every other month or once every 3 months. Like, honestly, for me from now on, probably once every 3-4 months, I'm going to do my trading and then just do a massive haul of like 5 billion at a time. But obviously, earlier on, I was doing it once a month for like a bill to 2 bill, depending on how active I was in the life skill. But it is an okay life skill. Now, you can process stuff and sell it on the central market and make more money. But the trade-off is you have to monitor prices. At sometimes it's actually worth trading. You make more money trading than you would selling on the central market. And obviously, if you start selling on the central market, you have to fight to sell it. There's a lot of extra micromanaging on central market stuff that you have to do that I don't like doing. That's why I've picked this as a life skill. It's not super strong in terms of just selling to the central marketplace, but it's just convenience. For me, I just do my processing, I turn my brain off, and then once a month I come here, or once every 3 months from now on, I'll come here and do my trading and make my big bucks. So, in terms of characters as well, one thing I have learned, one thing I've picked up, so like I said, this used to be my main, I had no problems with it, but now Gandalf's not my main, and an advantage I have by using a character that's not my main, that I don't use for anything else in the game, is I can park him in Valencia and leave him here indefinitely. So what I would do, right now I don't have the trading buff, so I'd go to the desert, grab the trading buff, and I'll come back to Valencia, and I'll leave Gandalf here until 3 months from now, and I'll bring some crates over with my main character, or a character underneath level 50 if I'm not feeling safe that day. And once all the crates are here, I'll switch over to Gandalf, who have like 59 minutes left on his trading buff. Trade them in. It will take like 5 to 10 minutes to trade them all in. And then I'll leave again, and in 3-4 months I'll come back, and so like basically I don't have to keep going to get the trade buff. One trade buff can last a bunch of trading, a bunch of trades, a bunch of times of doing your crates. So it's worked out, but honestly, the only thing I recommend is if you're not going to put this trading level on your main, just put it on a character that's not used for anything else that you can just leave here to just chill and get your AFK money. So the tips is, when you're overweight, there's going to be a method for leveling up in the guide called the rolling method. Now, the inputs on your controller, what you're going to do is hold forward on your left stick, and then press left bumper to do the little dash over there, and then press left bumper again when you hit the ground. Left bumper on PlayStation is L1. So you hold forward, tap left bumper, let go of forward, tap left bumper. And once you get used to it, it will look something like this. And this is just how you get from A to B quickly when moving your trade items. So really nice little handy thing that's going to help you when you're leveling up your trading. But now we need to talk about your trading crates. So you've watched the guide, you know how to level up your trading, and you've got your character in Valencia, and every once a month or once every however many, whatever period of time you want to leave for your trade crates, you need to know what trade crates you're going to make and where you're going to make them. So your primary area where you're going to make your crates is going to be Grana. So we're going to come to the wood workbench over here, this one here, and proceed to make purchase. So you're going to grab that one and purchase house. Another one you're going to grab is I've probably gone past it, crop factory. So there's 2 for the crop factory. You're going to grab both of them. Oops. Yeah, you meant to. There we go. Change it to crop factory. So crop factory there. And finally is a mineral workstation, which my eyesight's, there we go, right at the top. And mineral workstation, you're going to grab that one. So these are the ones you're going to put in Grana. Now, you can also open some workshops in Calpheon and use workers and old wisdom tree to go to Calpheon. I will go into this in a little bit more detail after I talk about what crates we're going to make in Grana. I would, at the beginning, when you're starting trading, just stay in Grana at the beginning, because you don't know if you really need this one yet. If you have a lot of AFK time, it's good to have both open. You're going to make a lot more money. But if you have a lot more active time to play the game, Grana is going to be more than enough to take care of all your trading needs. So once it's leveled up, I'm actually going to level these up to level 2, and then I'll be back when they're leveled up. Okay, so these should be leveled up now. Just about to. Perfect timing. In terms of what crates you're going to make, so remember in the farms we were talking about those sunflower crates earlier. That's one of the crates you're going to be making. What you want to do is come all the way to the bottom first, and then come up to this sunflower crate here. It's different to the one that's a bit further up. This one. This makes like 1 crate, and well, this I think makes 5 crates. I can't remember exactly, but this one makes 50 crates, so it's 10 times more. So this is definitely the one that you want to make. That's why you want to level it up to tier 2. And all you need for making crates is the base item and blackstone powder. Personally, I buy my blackstone powder off the central market. You can grind magical crystals if you want to save money on that front as well, but I just don't like the time investment for grinding all those crystals. So sunflower is one of the crates that you're going to make. Another one, so that's going to be both of these these vegetable ones here. For your mineral crates, there's a few different types of crate. The easy one that you're going to spam, and you're going to spam a lot of, is your steel crates. Again, you want to come all the way to the bottom here, because this is going to make your big packs instead of the smaller packs. So steel crates, you're going to spam these, and also you're going to make titanium and vanadium as well, but you're not going to be able to make these as often. These are really good for money, both the titanium and the vanadium. Titanium is a little bit better. It's almost as much as a Calpheon crate, but like I said, because the node that you're getting in Valencia only gets a certain amount at a time, you're not going to be able to make as much of them. So you're always going to have your steel crates running, and then every now and again you're going to have these crates running in the background. And finally, for your last set of crates, if we come to manage crafting, you're going to do your best to make as many Calpheon crates as possible. This one here. This is your main crate that you want to make. It's your biggest money crate that you can make. But when it's not available, Medaya is the one that you're going to make when you run out of materials. You're not going to have infinite resources. So you're going to make as many Calpheons as crates as you can. And then when you run out of timbers, you're going to start making some Medaya crates whilst you wait for your workers to restockpile your timbers for Calpheon crates. Then you're going to keep making Calpheon crates again, and then when you run out, this time you're going to go to Serendia crates. And not Serendia. You're going to go Balanos crates, my bad. You're definitely never going to make Serendia crates. You're going to make the Balanos crates, which is the cheapest ones. And then when you got a stockpile of Calpheon crates, you go back to Calpheon, you make these. And then once you run out of resources, you go back to Medaya, and then you just keep switching in between them. And those are the 3 wood crates that you're going to make here. Now, in terms of rule of thumb, you can go once a month, once every 2 months, once every 3 months, but it's around 7,000 crates is the max that you can move at a time. So once you get to 7,000, you basically want to move that crate. It's up to you how frequently you want to move it. If you don't want to wait for that crate to get to 7,000, it's completely up to you. In terms of money, like I said, it depends how active you are, which is kind of like how AFK you are. If you can keep these things running all the time, you're going to make about $1 to $1.5 million a month in Grana. But you can easily push that to $2 to $3 billion a month if you are really inactive and you are also making crates in Old Wisdom Tree. But that's a lot of AFK time to keep both of these running all the time. I'll talk about Old Wisdom Tree a bit more depth in just a second why it's so good, but it's definitely an option. I wouldn't recommend making wood crates here because it's just really hard to stay on making all those wood crates. But steel crates and if you can like spam steel crates, here is a good place to spam your steel crates along with special sunflowers. If you're using all your farms special sunflowers because you got a huge investment in you don't need any more alchemy items, that's fine. Or if you choose not to use alchemy as an option, then you just want to do your farming just for trading, then I'd recommend opening up Old Wisdom Tree as well and doing your bits and bobs here. But there's something we need to do. So Old Wisdom Tree, you have to connect it to Calpheon. So if you want to do crates of Old Wisdom Tree, what you'd have to do, oh, I've got no skill, I've not got any contribution points. 1 second. Okay, I filled out some contribution there. So we're gonna have to connect, like I said, Old Wisdom Tree to Calpheon. And this is how you'd go about doing that. It's not too many contribution points, because once you get to Bear, now it's already connected to Calpheon, because obviously you've got some of these nodes down here earlier. So then you're going to come into Calpheon, and you're going to have to pick up two crop factories, and you're going to look at, they're all going to be level 1 for these ones. So this one's only 1 contribution. So this is definitely one that you want to pick up. It's super cheap. This one is going to be more than 1 contribution. This one is 1 contribution. So pick up these two. Southgate 3 and Eastgate 8 1F. And you want to pick up mineral workstations as well. You want to pick up 2 of these. You want to try and pick up the cheapest one. This is 2 contribution points. Let's see if you can find any for 1. Check purchase conditions. So that's not going to work. Check purchase conditions. That's not going to work. Looks like we might have to end up spending 2 contribution points on this one as well. Yeah, we are. So for the mineral one, you want to pick up this one here for 2 contribution points. I don't have enough, I don't think. I can't, I gotta pick mineral. There we go. And is there any that I could just straight up buy? Required contribution points 2. This is 1-1. So I need to get Merchant Lane 1-2 and then Merchant Lane 1-1 Room 1.
Okay. Merchant Lane.
So it's Merchant Lane 1-2. The Merchant Lane, there we go. So grab these ones here. The reason I had to go the long way around because I got maximum storage, so you can't do it the easy way. But yeah, so these are the ones you'd pick up in Calpheon. Let me change it to show you my purchased ones. So this one here, these 2 crop ones, you'd have to pick up Merchant Lane 1-2 and this mineral bench here. And then what you would do is you would store the steel ingots, and so you store your steel ingots and your special sunflower seeds in here. And then you would come up to Calpheon. You'd click this button here and you go to Manage Crafting. Click this one here and you're going to obviously have to pick the worker Old Wisdom Tree. And then you start the work there. So there's a reason we're using Old Wisdom Tree. 1, the amount of money you make from your crates depends on distance. And Old Wisdom Tree is really far away from Valencia. That's one reason. But there's another big reason why we use it, and I'll show you in just a second. So the second reason we're using Old Wisdom Tree is because it's like a 99% chance of rolling an Artisan Worker or Old Wisdom Tree. So you go to you'll take your character over there with a lot of energy, and you'll start rolling workers, and it's always going to be Artisan. You want a Papu worker, but what you really want is the right skill on the worker. So, advanced produce packing skill, you want 2 of them that have this, the advanced produce packing skill. So you're going to keep re-rolling and buying an artisan Papu. Check the skills. If it doesn't have advanced produce packing skill or advanced ore packing skill, you're going to sell the worker, just discard the worker, and then roll again. And you're going to keep doing this. This is going to take you a lot of re-rolls. It took me quite a few thousand energy worth of re-rolls to eventually get these skills. But once you've got them, you don't have to worry about it anymore, and you're good to go. It's not going to cost you much silver at all. Like, at most 50 million, but that's nothing. That's really nothing in the long run. So don't worry about the silver cost. The energy cost is a little bit annoying. One thing I did, I used the new disconnect function. So you know how now, if I was to select this character, I can say, okay, I want this character to go to Old Wisdom Tree, and then I'm going to switch to Lord Hanzo. So this person would AFK to Old Wisdom Tree, and I'll do that to like 6 different characters. I'll send them all there. I'll roll all their energies, and then I'll just leave them there. And then when they have energy again, I'll roll some more workers. I just kept doing that. It took me a couple of days, but eventually a couple of energy replenishes. But eventually I got it. So it's not that bad. It's a little bit of time investment, but you can do it. But like I said, if you don't need Old Wisdom Tree, don't worry about getting it. But if you don't want to do alchemy as one of your side life skills, you're probably going to need it. So it's up to you. But I really think alchemy is a great side life skill. So that's the next one we're going to get into. But quickly, before we get into alchemy, let me just quickly show you guys in case you don't know how to make some of these items. So if you smelt iron, you get melted iron shards. And then if you put your melted iron shards in your storage and you've got your pay to win costume on, you can do this all from your storage. You take melted iron shards and coal. This makes your steel, which you need to make certain tools if you want to make tools. And you use the steel to make those crates that we talked about earlier. So that's a nice, easy one. Vanadium and titanium, I don't have any on me right now, but it's really, really easy. Literally all you do is melt it twice. And it makes you just melt it. That's what you do. You just melt it twice. You don't have to mix it with anything else, and it makes the ingots that you trade in. So those ones are pretty simple. And for like the trees, so you take your cedar timber, for example, you chop it. Really simple. When you chop your cedar timber like so, it's going to make you cedar plank and cedar plywood. You need the plywood. So what you then do is you've AFK'd a bunch of these cedar planks, like a couple thousand of these cedar planks. The next time you AFK, you're going to take a couple thousand cedar planks and you're going to chop that, and that guarantees you to get the cedar plywood. And the plywood is what you use for your crates to make your different crates. And that's the different items that you use in your boxes. So now let's get over to that alchemy. Okay, so now here we go for the last life skill. I know it's been a long guide. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Hopefully some of this has helped you, but just trust me when I say it does make you a lot of money. So alchemy is really good at making money every now and again. You can make some big boy profits by just waiting for your workers to gather the mats for you. So one of your main bottlenecks is traces, and once you get around 4,000 traces, that's when you want to start changing those traces into alchemy products. But before we do that, you need to power level your alchemy first. So to do that, there's a couple things we're going to need. Buffs, again, seafood cron meal, use the Villa buff turning gates and use the Life Spirit Alchemy Stone over here. You can also use the Vendora Droughts if you want. You're going to want +4 preferably alchemy clothes, but you can make it work with +3. You just won't get that 1 second cook time. So if you can eventually work yourself 2 +4, definitely do it. But obviously starting out, same with cooking, +3 is a good starting point. And for alchemy, you need the Pavilla cloves. So that's the pay to win item we were talking about earlier. This is definitely going to help you a lot with your alchemy, making your stuff quickly to maximize your money per hour, and also leveling up your alchemy is going to give you some boosts for that as well. So what we're going to need to do to make to start power leveling our alchemy, it's pretty simple. You just want to spam a bunch of, if I can find it in my storage, here we go, pure powder reagents and clear liquid reagents at the beginning. Probably make like, I don't know, 20 to 30,000 of each. So you're going to be making a lot of these items. And what do we need to make them? So if you just go to your crafting notes and you go to alchemy, clear liquid reagent, salt, you just buy that from the vendor. Sunrise herb, we've got a worker working on that node for us. Purified water, just buy this from the central market. That's what I do. There is a node for it, but it's just too much CP for purified water in my opinion, so just buy it. And weeds, you don't actually need the wild grass, ignore this, you just need one weed. Again, this one, buy it from the central market. If you want to gather it yourself, feel free. I just buy these 2 items from the central market. So it is going to cost you a little bit of silver sync at the beginning, but trust me, you will make your money back in droves later on. So once you spam a bunch of the clear liquid reagent, the next one was the pure powder reagent. So I'll come back in a minute when I find that. Okay, so here we go. For pure powder reagent, you just need sugar. Silver is buy from the vendor. Silver azalea, you got a node that's gathering that for you. Purified water, buy from the central market. And weeds, again, gather yourself or buy from the central market. If you really want, you can actually gather purified water too. You just got to buy some empty bottles from the material vendor, go to a river and just scoop it up, and that will get you like river water. And then I think you just heat it or distill it. I can't remember. We do one of the processing things, and that makes purified water for you. But like I said, I'd recommend just buying it. Now, there's a difference between cooking and alchemy. Cooking, as you're power leveling, you're making some money with imperial trade-ins. Alchemy, I would not recommend doing any imperial trading, because you're just basically, to power up to level up your alchemy, you're spamming these 2 items. That is going to get you a lot of EXP, and you're going to need these items anyway to make your beast droughts. So just think of it as an investment that you're going to get a huge return on a bit later on. Other stuff that I would recommend you guys to spam to get levels is Clown's Blood. So this is going to take some clear liquid reagent. I would recommend being at least professional, if not professional. If you can, wait to artisan, that's even better, before you start making the Clown's Blood, just so you get more procs. But you need the clear liquid reagent, which you've been making in the past. This is going to give you a lot more EXP than the other ones, by the way. And we're going to need it as well in the future to make some of the droughts. That was what we're going to be selling for money. Wolf's Blood, remember you're doing that hunting to get this done. So either just do more hunting when you're leveling this up because you need more Wolf's Blood, or you could just buy it off the CM if you don't mind making the silver investment. You will make it back in the future. Powder of Darkness and Spirit Leaves, your nodes will be gathering this for you. You have plenty of these after your 1 month wait period. So the next one I'd recommend spamming as well is some Sinner's Blood. Again, we need that clear liquid reagent. You've been making that to level up your alchemy. Powder of Flame, Bloody Tree Knot, you will have plenty of these in your storage. And Pig's Blood. So it doesn't have to be Pig's Blood. It can be either deer, sheep, goat, cow, pig, ox, or worgon. I'd recommend just getting some sheep blood. Can buy off Central Market if you want, but also Sheep Mountain. There's a notorious place up here called Sheep Mountain near Alejandro Farm by Heidel. If you go up here, there's a lot of sheep, and just get a fluid collector and start gathering away, and that will get you the blood for Sinner's Blood. All right, and the last item that you're going to be spamming for some EXP as well, pure powder reagent, trace of earth, and spirit leaf. So you've been making this already. These two you're going to be storing up because your workers are going to be getting them for you. And for lizard blood, it's actually, it doesn't just have to be lizard. It can also be worm, bat, or cuckoo. But honestly, I would just get the lizard blood itself. That's probably that's the only one I really know where to farm. So where I farm it is, it's near Glish. I think, if I remember correctly, it's somewhere around Glish. I can't remember. I think maybe around this area. If you just do a little circle around Glish, there's an area with a bunch of lizards and you can kill them. I want to say it's around here. I think. I'm not 100% sure. But if you go around here and you can't find the lizards, just go on YouTube and just type in lizard gathering and it will show you where it is. It's not too bad, not too hard to find, an easy grind to do. Again, you can buy these off the central market if you feel like you want to do so. So those are the items I'd recommend spamming until you get to high levels of artisans, if not master alchemy. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's actually going to go a lot faster than you think, to be honest. And all these items, even though it's going to cost you a little bit of silver sync if you decide to buy them from the central market, it's going to come back and make you a lot of money in the future. So now let's talk about how I make my silver. So I'm going to switch my screen over to what I showed you guys earlier and talk you through how you're going to be planning your alchemy sessions. So here we go. This page right here, like I said, it's going to be linked down below. You click on droughts. These are all the droughts. So I'm just making 3 droughts at the minute. But as you can see, Beast Drought, Frenzy Drought, and Giants Drought. Right now, Frenzy Droughts aren't out, but I'm just prepping for this in the future. So when they do come out, I'm going to have a nice large stockpile and make some good money out of it. But for now, I'm just making Beasts and Giants. You guys can even make these other droughts if you like to. You have to do your own research. I'm not going to do it for you because I haven't done it for myself. But it's pretty simple. So let's start with the Beast Drought because that's actually worth making as of the making of this video on EU anyway. Giants Droughts are a bit too cheap. So I'm not making them right now, but I will make them when the price goes back up. So coming back to Beast Droughts, we click here, we see, okay, Grim Reaper Elixir. What do we need to make a Grim Reaper Elixir? Well, we need all of Fortitude. So we haven't got this, so we need to make this, right? We need Pure Powder Reagent, 4 of them. Well, we've got tens of thousands of these because you've been spamming them to level up, so you don't have to worry about this right now. Sky Mushrooms. Again, one of your workers has been stocking these up for the last month, couple months really. You've got thousands of these, you're good to go. Monk's Branch, again, your workers have been grabbing these for you as well. So you've got thousands of these and you're good to go. Trace of Origin is your main bottleneck for this drought. So this is going to be in your Glish storage. It's your Glish worker that's getting this origin, Trace of Origin for you. And usually when I get anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000, I'll start making my batch depending on like how much silver. Like if I need some silver, around 2k Trace of Origin, I'll make a batch. I think this time I had around 3,000 Trace of Origins. I haven't even made all the Beast Droughts that I can make, and I've already made like 1,600 Beast Droughts, which is 2 billion silver. So that's roughly how much that's going to translate for you. But we still need to make this Oil of Fortitude, right? So let's click on this Oil of Fortitude. Well, what do we need? We need Clown's Blood. Well, look at that. You've been spamming that whilst you've been leveling up, so you've got plenty. Monk's Branch, workers have been getting it. Fruit of Nature, remember earlier we were talking about those farms? Well, you've been breeding a bunch of stuff that's giving you Fruits of Nature. The purple mushrooms specifically that gives you this one. And Powder of Flame, again, your workers have been getting this for you. These are all byproducts from different nodes that I've told you guys to get. So your storages are going to be filled with these as well. So pretty easy to make the Oil of Fortitude, and you're going to make a nice stockpile of this Oil of Fortitude as well. So that's cool. Now let's go back and have a look at Giant's Drought. Sorry, the next elixir for Beast Drought. So that's how we make the Grim Reaper. So once you've made that Oil of Fortitude, everything else is good to go, and you start spamming these. And now let's look at the next one, EXP Elixir. So what do we need for the EXP Elixir? Clown's Blood. Again, you've been spamming a bunch of these. Dry main grass, I actually forgot to add this into the farming guide. So if you've made it this far, awesome. This is an extra thing you need to get for your farming. So remember, like I was saying, there's some items that you gather, like the dwarf mushrooms and the bluffer mushrooms, that you have to use your farms to gather them to get the resources. Well, dry main grass is another one that you want to be doing in your farms as well. So I apologize if that bothers you that I forgot to mention it. There is a lot of stuff in this video, so again, I'm sorry. Pine sap, I just gather this myself. I go down to the ogre area on the map. I will show you now. So I will come down here on the map. So if you look, this is Calpheon. This is the world boss, Murica. So all around here is lots and lots of pine sap. And there's another reason I come here. There's a bunch of mini elites that you can one-shot. Even with like almost no AP, you can one-shot these guys. So I kill those guys for silver bars, and I make like a good 10-20 mil whilst on the side just from silver bars whilst I'm gathering these pine saps. So you definitely can do it like that. Now you can buy from the central market, but it is going to cut into your profits. I would recommend just going gathering it yourself. If you don't want to do any gathering, then what you can do is min bid them on the CM. It's going to be really hard to pick them up for min bids, but you can do that whilst like during your waiting period. So, you know, I said, oh, you're waiting 1 month for your stuff to gather up. So during that period, if you don't want to do any of the gathering, start min bidding so you're making more profit. But ultimately, I would recommend you gather your own pine sap for this. And then coming back over here, powder of flame, you've been grabbing that yourself. So that's that elixir out of the way. Now elixir of will. So next one, powder reagent, you've been spamming it. Sunrise herb, you've been getting it from your worker empire. Blood 1, this is the wolf's blood that you've been getting from hunting. Again, you can specifically just go gather the wolf's blood from the starter area near Ancient Stone Chamber by Velia. So there's plenty of wolves over there. You can just go over there and kill wolves and grab the wolf's blood if you like. You're going to get more blood per hour than doing the hunting. But like I said, if you just do this hunting as a side hustle, it's definitely worth it. Trust me, it's going to pay itself back in the long run tenfold. And finally, 3 purified water, just buy it from the central market. So that's your elixir of wills. Now once you make your elixir of will, you can make your beast drought by buying a Tear of the Fallen Moon from an old moon vendor. I will show you guys where the old moon vendor is in Calpheon. That's the only one that I know of personally, so that's just the one I'm going to be able to show you here. Every major city has an old moon vendor, but you're going to have to do a bit of research to find out exactly where that old moon vendor is, because we can't, as far as I know, we can't actually search for specific NPCs on console, which is a little bit annoying, but that is what it is. So that's the beast droughts out the way. Now let's talk about giant drought since it's in the game. Elixir of Fury is our first one. Dwarf mushrooms, you've been gathering this from your farms. Ash sap, you're going to have buckets of this stuff. Velia is going to be where you'll find it. It's one of the ash trees over there that you gather. A byproduct is ash sap, so you don't even need to gather this one yourself. Blood 4, so this is ogre blood, troll blood, and bear blood. You will be grinding troll blood, so you want to go get your own troll blood for this, and I'll show you where it is on the map in just a minute. Let me just go for the last one, purified water, buy it on the central market. So now let me show you where that troll blood is. Okay, so troll blood you're going to find right up here in the troll camp near Quint Hill. So come to Quint Hill, just around Quint Hill, there's a bunch of trolls. Just come up here. You don't need a lot of gear. Like, I've got, I don't know, 100 AP on my shy. I kill them with no problem. And just gather them for their blood. And that's where you get your troll's blood. Again, you can buy it from the central market, but it's going to cut into your profits. I'd recommend gathering it. So that's one of 3 of the elixirs to make the giant drought, elixir of fury out the way. So let's look at elixir of shock. Sorry, just making sure I'm recording there. So elixir of shock, clown's blood, you've been spamming this to level up, so you got that. Tiger mushroom, it'll be in Calpheon storage because your workers are getting that for you. Cedar sap is going to be in Calpheon storage as well. Let me show you a really cool thing that you can do here. I'll link this website as well. So if we type in cedar sap, so you can see this long tree forest down here. This node that we've already got is an area that gives you cedar sap. So make sure to check your Calpheon storage, because you don't need to gather as much cedar sap as you would need to. Let me quickly show you on the map as well. So if we go back to our game over here, this is where I gather my cedar trees from. If you want more density, you're going to have to go research it yourself on YouTube. If you just type in BDO, cedar sap locations, stuff like that, it will come up. But remember, like over here, we're getting our pine sap. If you were to take this road just over here on the way to the pine sap, there's a bunch of cedar trees. It's not crazy dense, but there's quite a few of them, and that's where I get my extra cedar sap from if I need to gather it, which I don't really normally need to, but I've been using these nodes to gather materials for a long time. So let's switch screens again. So that's where we get cedar sap, and powder of time, that's going to be in your storage as well. So that's that out of the way. Going back to droughts, you put those together, you get your elixir of shock, and this is your bottleneck elixir right here because of traits of violence. This is your main bottleneck item that's going to stop you from being able to make this stuff infinitely. So, pine sap, we've already told you where to gather it. That's the ogre location. Bluffer mushroom, well, that's going to be the ones that you're farming, using your farms to get, so you should be stockpiling up on this during your stocking period. Clear liquid reagent, you've been spamming this to level up, so you're going to have that available to you. And remember, the trace of violence is your bottleneck item, is going to be one of your storages. Oil of corruption is another thing that we're going to need to make this, and to make oil of corruption, we're going to need some Sinner's Blood, some Spirit Leaf, some Fruit of the Sun, and some Powder of Darkness. Spirit Leaf, Powder of Darkness in your storages. Sinner's Blood, you've been spamming to level up. And Fruit of the Sun, you have been using your farms to get these, and that's when you've been breeding your wheat seeds. So you should have a nice little stockpile of Fruit of the Sun. And that's those three. The next thing you're going to do is get Tear of the Fallen Moon, and that is going to allow you to make some giant droughts. So this is the last drought that I make, which is the Frenzy Drought. The Frenzy Drought, which is going to require Frenzy Elixir. So this isn't in the game yet. Just please know this isn't in the game yet, so don't worry about making these too much. But when they do come in the game, or if you want to make a little batch of these beforehand, you need to make some Elixir of Frenzies, which requires Ghost Mushrooms. You've been using your farms to get some of these. Trace of Battle is your main bottleneck. Cedar Sap, again in Calpheon. We've talked about where you need to go to gather it. And just remember, if you want a better spot, go on YouTube, just type in BDO Cedar Sap rotation, and something should come up. Clear Liquid Reagent, again, you've been spamming these, so that should be available to you. And Oil of Regeneration. So Oil of Regeneration requires Legendary Beast Blood. You've been spamming these to level up, so you should have them. Red Tree Lump, Powder of Crevice. Again, you should have these in your storages. Your workers have been grabbing these for you. Fruit of Crimson Flame is from your farms. It's when you've been breeding your magical pumpkin seeds to be getting these. And that makes you Oil of Regeneration. And then you put all these items together to get your Elixir of Frenzy. Now that's out of the way. The next one is going to be Demi-Human. So you only need to make 2 elixirs for this one. Demi-Human is really, really easy to make. Sinner's Blood, you're going to have buckets of these. First sap, go gather it. That's by the Ogre location. Blackstone Powder, just buy it from the Central Market. Cheapest chips. And Arrow Mushrooms, Velia storage is going to be filled with Arrow Mushrooms. So that's that out of the way. Now those are the 3 droughts that I make to make my money, because I don't want to make more. It's just too... These 3 enough is AFK, I think of this as an AFK incremental income. I let my workers grab all the materials, and then once a month, once every 2 months, I look at the price in the Central Market. If the prices are over $1 million a drought, I will then make a big batch of those droughts. It's once you've actually got past the painstaking area of leveling up your alchemy, it's really, really AFK. It's literally once a month for 1 or 2 days. You're going to go gather some pine sap, some like random saps, and a little bit of bloods here and there. It's going to be 1 to 2 days worth of gathering and alchemy. So both of those things not going to take you more than 2 gaming sessions, good gaming sessions, to get all the materials and make all these elixirs. and you will make billions. So just to let you guys know, recently I made close to 2,000 beast, I think it was like 1,700-ish beast elixirs, and that is going to sell for close to 2 billion. I probably spent about anywhere between 400 to 500 mil just to cheat, to get some bloods and stuff. So I cut into my profits a little bit to save myself some time, but I'm still making over $1 billion and change in profit for like a day's worth of work in live skilling. Very low effort work as well. If you really like alchemy, you can focus on it a bit more, and you can make other droughts as well. Like this drought over here takes a lot, but it also sells for a lot. It takes like 6 mil for each one of these droughts in the central market. The Verdura droughts, again, this is another one that you can invest some time into. If you want to make these, you'd have to click on these yourselves and just do research on what nodes you need to put your workers on, if there's any special items that's not available. And let's talk about alchemy real quick. So if we come here and we look at the alchemy items, so there's a few other things. I don't do this myself, but you can do this if you want to make some extra money. Come over here and look at the items you need to make specific elixirs. Because you might have a bunch of stuff left over, right? So you might have a bunch of trace of forest left over because you don't use this item for your alchemy. So maybe you want to sell some elixir of drainings, and then you need to just research, well, these are the items I need to do to make this elixir of draining. Is it worth my time? So there is things you can do to make money in alchemy, but it does require research. I don't like doing research. I've got a very cookie cutter way of 0 research required to make my money, and those are the 3 droughts that I've mentioned. I just have to wait for the prices to be over $1 million for it to be like, okay, it's worth for me to make it. So this is a really good resource to test out money making, and this is a really good resource to see like where certain items are. So if you come over here and it's like, oh wow, I need Amantia mushrooms to make elixir of assassination, can I get that over here? And I think I completely spelt it wrong. Let me double check. Amantia mushrooms, AMAN. Okay. So we come over here. So unfortunately, it looks like there's no Amantia mushroom node. So, but you get the point, right? So if there's another elixir you want to make and there's something missing, then just come over and search it here to see if you can get your worker to get it for you. Now, another thing that's going to make you money is shining powders. Personally, I just sell shining powders to the central market, but you can make these alchemy stones. These are the items you need to make it. And basically, it says broken alchemy stone. If it makes it broken when you actually throw it away, when you combine these items together, it makes those it makes these alchemy stones over here. So destruction, protection, and life. It'll make a random one. It'll make an imperfect version of one of these stones. So, you know, if you want, you can process those things into these and then level them up to make money. If you want to, it's a lot of extra work. So I just sell my shining powders on the central market. And as you can see here, I sold 260 shining powders. I've got 319 for sale. And I've also got some extra ones, I think. And I've got another 30 over here as well. And this is from the beast droughts that I made. And let's have a look at these beast droughts. So I've already sold a decent couple hundred of these. I'm going to teach you guys how to sell these properly, because this is really important when it comes to selling your droughts. So, easiest thing to do, come up here, put it on max bid, leave it, forget about it. It might take a couple of weeks. Eventually it's going to sell and you're going to make your money. However, if you don't want to do that and you want to try and get it out onto the central market sooner, have a look at where all these bids are. Okay, let's have a look. Well, I want to sell it before this guy, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put 1,000 on the central market underneath him, because all that's going to happen is they're going to look at it and be like, I'm not waiting for 1,000 elixirs, beast droughts to sell. I'm going to undercut him. And then if you keep undercutting, what's going to happen? Oh, the price is going to come all the way down here, and then the price is going to drop, and it's not going to be worth selling. So what you do is you play smart. You come underneath him and just put like 30 for sale. There you go. You put 30 for sale, come back, check in a couple hours, or an hour usually. it's probably going to be all gone by then. And then put another 30 for sale. Then put another 30 for sale. Just little bit, drip feed. So some of his elixirs are going to be selling as well, but your elixirs are going to sell too. And this is how you're going to make your money. I find it easy just to put it on max price and get the money back. And as you saw there, I've almost got 1,100 of these things. If I was to sell it as max price, that's 1.18 mil. I've already sold 600 plus of these elixirs. So these droughts, so a lot of money over here for a couple of days of work. But there we go. Just put 30 here. I want to sell some. That's how you're going to sell it without crashing the market. If you try and undercut and you end up just putting a bunch on the central market, let me show you what happens. This is what happens if you do that. The price is going to plummet. Look over here. This stuff is 900k all the way down to 775k. This is not worth your time and effort to make these droughts. So now we're going to have to wait a couple of months probably for these to creep back up to 1.1, 1.2 mil. But when it does creep back up there, we're going to have more resources. And then again, just sell them a little bit at a time or just put them at max price. Like one person already over here, he's like, F it, I'm going to put 1,000 on max price. And then that's going to be almost 900 mil in his pocket, probably 750 to 800 mil after tax for when he sells those. For me, that's not enough money for 1,000 giant droughts. So I'll be waiting a little bit longer for the prices to go up. Because eventually these people, they're going to realize this is a lot of work for not enough money. And they're going to stop making these giant droughts. And the prices are going to creep up. It's just going to take a little while for that to happen. So that's some tips and tricks on how to sell it. But finally, I almost forgot, Old Moon Vendor in Calpheon is over here. So if you open your map and you go to purchase houses, press B, then zoom out a little bit. Come all the way. You see this NPC, this blue man right here? This is the Old Moon Vendor in Calpheon. So this is the storage in Calpheon. This is the center of Calpheon. You're going to go right, stable keeper in Calpheon, or one of the stable keepers. This guy right here is the Old Moon Vendor. And let me give you guys an example of how I make my droughts. So I've pulled out some of these Brutal Penetration, some Shock, and some Elixir of Endless Furies. I'm going to come to this Old Moon Vendor over here. I'm just going to buy 100. Oops, not. I'm just going to buy 100 of these Tears of the Fallen Moon. I'm going to buy 10 of these Illibab Essences. And just hit my processing. Simple alchemy. I'm going to click on all these different items, press Y, and then this is going to make my droughts for me. Really, really simple. Definitely use Illibab Essences. It's only 10,000 per one, which is going to make making your droughts 10 times faster. The main money cost is going to be the Tear of the Fallen Moon. That's going to be your expensive item that you're going to have to buy. You're forced to buy it. The Illibab Oasis is worth the money. Trust me, the amount of time it takes to make 100 crafts compared to 10 crafts is pretty dramatically different. So that's basically it. That is my guide. That's everything I do to make money. I know this has been a really long video. It's taken me a really long time to put this thing together. I hope it has helped you. Again, this is just how I make my money. If you guys find some faults with it, if you think there's ways you can improve it, just pop it down in the comment section down below. But in terms of how much money I make, depending on how active I am with processing, it's anywhere from 1 to 2 bill a month from trade crates. And I don't know the exact money because I kind of wait for the central market to dictate when I'm going to make my droughts. But I'd say within a month, the mats that you get, you're making a minimum of 1 bill a month in profit from droughts in terms of the resources that you get. and the main resource being the bottleneck. So the traces, that bottleneck will net you around $1 bill a month profit. If the marketplace is over 1 million, that's where I wait for it to be before I make my sales. Alright guys, that is the end of this very long guide. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope it has been helpful. If it has been, please drop a like, think about subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.